Ready to have your mind blown? Insane fights, brain-melting twists, and drama that'll steal your heart in a flash. Smash that subscribe button on Manhwa T-Rex now. And hey, dive into today's recap video right this second.
His brother was a giant. A mountain of a man, but utterly heartless towards his bullied younger brother. Instead of sympathy, he offered only scorn, calling him pathetic. He refused to defend Huang Chomin, and went further, issuing a chilling threat. Breathe a word about being my brother, and I'll make you disappear. The words stung. Huang Chomin's fury erupted. How could you say that? We're family. I'm all you have. Aren't I your only family left? His brother walked away, deaf to his plea. The door slammed shut, a final punctuation mark. 3 years vanished. 3 years of relentless torment for Huang Chomin. Then, the phone call. His brother was dead. The news struck him silent. 3 years of silence shattered. Huang Chomin had to say goodbye. A motorcycle and a truck, a fatal collision, the end. The internal struggle ended brutally, taking his brother's life instantly. Huang Chomin abandoned the body without a second thought. After all, who would mourn such a despicable man? A funeral was a needless expense. Food was a far more pressing need. As Huang Chomin departed, a staff member intercepted him, offering a package. Please, at least take this. I understand you're not claiming the body because of the funeral costs. I almost forgot to give these to you. These belongings were recovered from the accident. Huang Chomin took the package and sat, overwhelmed. His mind raced. He never imagined his brother's recklessness would lead to this. The weight of his solitude crushed him. Tears welled up. A sudden ringing pierced the silence. Inside, a powered-on phone. A message blazed across the screen. Boss, how's that cross-country trip treating you? Huang Chomin tried opening the message, but it was password-locked. On a whim, he tried the universal unlock gesture. Shockingly, it worked. He started digging through the phone's content. One message grabbed his attention. It contained Zhang Hezu's personal information, a classmate. He opened it. Inside, someone was praising Zhang Hezu's character. Confusion washed over Huang Chomin. He remembered the sender's relentless bullying. A few curses slipped out under his breath. After reading everything, he realized he'd stumbled upon a vicious gang. He sent a group message, calling for a meetup. He planned to lure them out for the police. Suddenly, someone yanked his ear. It was Han Chonghee. He spotted the package, instantly grasping the fatality. Indifference was his only response. He proceeded to dump the package's content. Huang Chomin's reaction was too slow. The mementos were worthless to him, yet the interference infuriated him. Rage consumed him. He tackled Han Chonghee to the ground, but his fury was far from spent. As Han Chonghee struggled to rise, Huang Chomin's fist connected with his face. Despite his own fall injuries, he relentlessly pressed his attack. Han Chonghee endured a brutal onslaught. Suddenly, Zhang Hesu's punch sent Huang Chomin flying. Chaos erupted. What just happened? I only needed the store for a second. Han Chonghee, why are you covered in blood? That bastard blindsided me, shoved me down from there. That's completely unacceptable. We can teach him a lesson without breaking the law. Precisely here. A sinister grin spread across Zhang Hezu's face. Ignoring his pain, Huang Chomin scrambled to his feet, desperate to escape. But Zhang Hezu wasn't about to let him get away. He lunged forward, but a sudden blow sent him crashing to the ground. He looked up to see his attacker, his own brother, Wu Sijong. He froze. Confusion washed over him. Why? The boss called you scum, Wu Sijong stated. Said 1,000 beatings wouldn't be enough. 1,000 wouldn't be enough. Huang Chomin trembled. It was him. The message, he'd contacted him. He didn't understand, but Zhang Hesu refused to be a victim. From the ground, Han Chonghee urged, stop, stop. Tears streamed down his face. A crowd was closing in, hundreds strong. Their attire mirrored Gua Shizhong, allies, clear as day. They observed the unfolding drama. Huang Chomin was drenched in cold sweat. Could these be my brother's men? Realization dawned too late for Zhang Hesu. He was trapped. Scum or not, irrelevant. The boss's displeasure seals your fate. The Emperor Gang's creed demands action. His words were the starting gun. Zhang Hesu was brutally assaulted. Huang Chomin witnessed the carnage, a debt of gratitude to his brother. He would wield his brother's power. A phone with global underworld reach. But Huang Chomin chose a different path. He became the school's reckoning force. Bullies became human furniture. And then, they ran the track naked. For 2.5 grueling hours, they endured. The thugs had no option but to obey. The Emperor Gang's influence was omnipresent. This alerted the school's highest authority. After all, in just the last week, over 20 individuals had become victims of the Emperor Gang's brutality. But even Jin Fu, the squad leader, was baffled. The Emperor Gang had previously looked the other way. What was the reason for this sudden change? They might be hired muscle, someone suggested. If they wanted control of the school, they'd target the third years. But they're focusing on first years. This reeks of a personal vendetta. If that's true, find that brazen first year and bring him to me. I already had that in mind. The following morning, all suspects were assembled. The hunt for the mastermind was on. Guminzu cut to the chase. He declared his intent. He was there to expose the mastermind behind the attack, and I'm certain, he announced, the culprit is here. Wang Chaomin trembled at the accusation. How had they been so quickly identified? A sly smile played on Guminzu's lip. Wondering how we know, aren't you? It was a calculated bluff. Everyone present was a potential suspect. One chance, Guminzu offered. Confess now, or else face unimaginable torture. Terror gripped Huang Chaomin, but he remained silent. He refused to yield. No confessions? Guminzu sighed. Fine then. Nobody move. We'll search everyone, starting from the front. This is it, Huang Chaomin thought. I'm caught. Why did I bring that phone? Discovery means undeniable guilt. Suddenly, someone up front was punished for shifting during the check inspection. Huang Chaomin felt a surge of desperation. He grabbed his phone, ready to summon the Emperor Gang. His message, urgent, Dragon Day High School auditorium, now. But Guminzu leaned in, inquisitive. What are you doing? Huang Chaomin froze, terrified. Cold sweat drenched him. Mind blank, he blurted. No phones, why are you on your phone? He pressed further. Don't tell me you're the mastermind behind all this? With that, he lunged for the phone. Huang Chaomin clung to it, defiant. Enraged, the man's fist cocked back. A voice cut through the tension. I hired them, a trembling Kim Dechong confessed. I'm the one responsible for the trouble. Kim Dechong stammered, fear evident. Lowering his fist, the man turned to Kim Dechong. You orchestrated all of this? Kim Dechong instantly dropped to his knees. I hired the Emperor Gang because I loathed my tormentors. Guminzu hesitated. The attackers remained unnamed. Could this boy truly be responsible? How did he know? Suddenly, Guminzu felt a prickle of suspicion. He spun around, snatching Huang Chaomin's phone. Unlock code 1. Huang Chaomin responded. 314-520. The phone unlocked to a barrage of advertisements. Guminzu was speechless, completely dumbfounded. Recovering, he returned the phone to Huang Chaomin. Meanwhile, his men finished examining Kim Dae-jung's phone. This kid's phone is clean. Fear of exposure drove me to erase every trace of our conversation. Gumi and Zhu remained completely oblivious. After all, who would confess to such a grave offense? Unless they were terrified into it? This coward was clearly broken. My brilliance would surely dazzle Dujian Fu once more. Our bond would deepen, allowing me to continue puppeteering these villains. He then slammed his fist into Kim Dae-jung's gut. I trust you're mentally prepared. The rest of you, get out. But as Huang Chaomin retreated, he couldn't resist a backward glance. Confusion gnawed at him. Why had Kim Dae-jung taken the fall, and how did he know the Emperor Gang was involved? This timid, bullied boy had a brother with a terrifying reputation. He wasn't just a gang leader. He was the most feared among them. A single command from him could erase someone from existence. A fatal car accident claimed his life. His brother inherited his phone. Huang Chaomin, armed with the phone, set out to clean up the school. His efforts backfired, leading to a brutal beating for his friend. Suspicions arose. Had someone hired thug? The school rounded up all potential suspects. Their plan, examine everyone's phone record. Just as the investigation began, Huang Chaomin and Kim Dae-jung stepped forward, taking the blame. They falsely confessed to hiring the Emperor Gang. A secret they'd witnessed compelled their lie. The Emperor Gang exceeded all expectations, he thought. The gang's actions had completely blindsided him. Embarrassment washed over Huang Chaomin. He reflected inwardly. Even my private thoughts need to be guarded, he realized. He accepted responsibility for the beating. Kim Dae-jung brushed off his apology. He recalled past ridicule. Only one person had offered help, Huang Chaomin. You may have missed it, but Quan Du Hyun's breakdown? I'll never forget it. A forbidden joy bloomed inside me. I felt a surge of happiness. No pity needed. Just go. Hurry back. I'm stuck here for now. They're sending me somewhere. After school, I'm meeting someone, a Du Jinfu. They won't kill me, right? That's what they say. Huang Chaomin disagreed. He freed Kim De-chong and absolved him of guilt. Revenge is sweet, he said. Enjoy it. Relish the sight of those bullies getting what they deserve. It's fun. Laugh at their pain. Just like they laugh at ours. Huang Chaomin seethed. They'll still be coming for me later. Don't sweat it. Ready for the main event? Inside a classroom of 40. 39 were asleep. The back door creaked open. A newly awakened student was confronted by a group. Their demand, the location of Guminzu, Year 3, Class 4. Answer given, they zeroed in on their target. A stunned class watched as Guminzu was surrounded. One assailant wielded a fire extinguisher. It came crashing down on Guminzu's head. Huang Chaomin had orchestrated the attack, messaging the Emperor Gang. His command, an immediate and brutal assault on Guminzu at Dragon Day. Witnessing the violence, Guminzu's loyal follower reacted instantly. He rushed to intervene. A single blow to the head sent him sprawling. Defeated but defiant, the red-haired man glared at the attacker. A chilling warning, interference meant death. He rejoined the assault. Guminzu endured a merciless beating. Terror gripped the teacher. He fled the classroom to call for help. His frantic call to the police, thugs had invaded Dragon Day. His plea, urgent assistance. The chaos spilled into neighboring classrooms. A sense of unease filled the air. Jolting Du Jinfu awake. He delivered a sharp smack to the head of the student in front. Pipe down, you little runt, he barked. Elsewhere. The Emperor Gang continued their brutal assault on Guminzu. Blood soaked Guminzu's clothes. His pleas for mercy were desperate. Finally satisfied with their savagery, they demanded a trophy, a photo of their handiwork. The onlookers were stunned into silence. Witnessing Guminzu, the school's notorious bully, beg? Unthinkable. He was a force to be reckoned with, after all. Usually, he was the one dishing out the pain. A cruel smile crept across their faces. The picture was perfect. The boss would be pleased. As he admired the photo, a hand clamped down on his shoulder. Emperor Gang, you think you're above the law? You think this is a playground? The man was launched through the window. The remaining few swarmed Du Jinfu, but Du Jinfu was a force to be reckoned with. He effortlessly handled 3 attackers, dodging blows and delivering devastating counterattack. In a flash, all 3 were down. Du Jinfu's fury erupted. Who the hell do you think you are? You dare start a fight here in broad daylight? The words barely left his mouth when someone blindsided him. A chokehold trapped Du Jinfu. Another grabbed a fire extinguisher and swung it hard. By the time the police burst in, Du Jinfu was the last man standing. He'd single-handedly taken them all down. Song Jonggok was awestruck. The school's top fighter lived up to his reputation. The fire extinguisher pummeled him relentlessly, yet he remained standing. Out of my way, you scum. The blonde-haired student launched a punch, sending his opponent flying. A wave of bodies followed, crashing into the fray. This was the late-arriving first gang. Chaos erupted. Jinfu. What's happening? What's with the Emperor Gang? Jinfu roared, listen up. Those Emperor Gang bastards ambushed us. That despicable boss of theirs ordered this. Minzu suffered because of that scumbag. We won't tolerate this. They'll pay for disrespecting Dragon Day. We may have coexisted peacefully before, but from now on, the Emperor Gang is our enemy. Huang Xiaomin's face hardened. Guminzu was formidable. But Du Jinfu commanded the school's delinquent. Du Jinfu was the linchpin. His removal was crucial to dismantling the operation. The kingpin, a truly despicable individual. Let the showdown begin. Prepare for utter destruction, he threatened. A subtle smirk played on Huang Xiaomin's lip, unbeknownst to him. His peculiar actions had already piqued the interest of the Emperor Gang's leadership. The boss has been off lately. These missions, strangely compelling. One message, thousands of lives at stake. This time, he'd miscalculated. His failure plunged the school into further turmoil. Oppression intensified. The demand, 100,000 in protection money, per person, per day. Huang Chaomin was incensed. A daily extortion. He raced to the bathroom, a message for Gu Jichang urgent. What's happening? We had Du Jinfu cornered, but he's aligned himself with the Big Phil Alliance. Any action against him now equates to a declaration of war. Hua Ji-cheong contemplated his next move. He was interrupted before he could act. The interruption came from Park Suk-ha, captain of the Emperor Gang's elite squad. He deemed the conflict unnecessary. He opted for a private discussion with the boss. Hence, Hua Ji-cheong's silence. Huang Xiaoman was enraged by the message. Park Suk-han was interfering again. While consolidating his control over the Emperor Gang, he uncovered their intricate system. 3 main squads operated independently. Each functioned autonomously. Park Suk-ha led the first squad. His messages hinted at a larger role. Overseeing the Emperor Gang's operation, he acted as a key advisor. Park Suk-ha's influence steadily grew. Huang Xiaoman's commands faced scrutiny. Each order he issued resulted in a meager deployment of 5 to 7 men. With greater force at the school that day, Du Jinfu might have fallen alongside Gumanzu. Mimicking his brother, Huang Xiaoman sent a chastising message. But the response revealed a friendship, not a power dynamic. Cold sweat drenched Huang Xiaoman. A rookie error. The chat history was clear. Casual language equals best avoid conflict. One wrong word could breed suspicion. Forced compliance. Luckily, Hua Ji-cheong, the second squad's blindly obedient attack dog, could handle Du Jinfu. School management. A problem for later. However, Park Suk-ha's intervention infuriated Huang Xiaoman. How dare you interrupt my tranquility? You'll pay for this. Unbeknownst to him, Park Suk-ha felt the same. Since when do you have the audacity to question my authority? Park Suk-ha seethed. For days, he defied orders. Every instruction from his superior was met with blatant refusal. Huang Xiaoman was frustrated. After all, he lacked Huang Wudi's brute force to enforce obedience. Inaction would only embolden Park Suk-ha further. He believed defiance came without consequences. The next time he used his weapon, its reliability would be questionable. He might not even know if the bullets were blank or live rounds. A dangerous uncertainty. Lost in thought, Huang Xiaoman paced the bathroom. A sudden voice jolted him. Peeking out, he saw a hallway crowd. Are the teachers all in a meeting? Du Jinfu muttered to his subordinate. Are all the teachers currently in a meeting? Confirmed, he ushered the group behind him in. These delinquents haven't paid up. Witness this. Anyone who defies me again will face the consequences. Joining the Big Phil Alliance came with a price, daily due. A daily membership fee was mandatory. Thus began the first gang's student extortion. In truth, they were merely parasitic leeches. Spotting Song Min Guk last in line, Wang Xiaomin was spurred into action. I need a plan, and fast. That night, he scoured his phone for intel on Park Suk-han. He searched for information on Park Suk-han late into the night. Only basic apps, no real social media. The phone lacked proper social media platform. How could he orchestrate a legitimate lesson for Du Jinfu from Park Suk-han? His search led him to a photo, not just of Park Suk-han, but a girl in a Dragon Day uniform. A clue. Outwardly, an unremarkable high school student, falling behind. But secretly, the puppet master of H country's most formidable criminal syndicate, the Emperor Gang. Yet, recently, Park Suk-han had become a persistent obstacle, thwarting his every command. His interference brought increased suffering to everyone at school. Retribution was imminent. He would make Park Suk-han pay. He couldn't rely on brute force like his brother, Huang Wudi. Instead, he'd use cunning. He would manipulate. Unlike Huang Wudi, he possessed information, gathered meticulously, ready to be weaponized. Lies would be spun, misunderstandings ignited, targeting Du Jinfu. And the final blow? Kidnapping Park Suk-han's girlfriend, forcing his hand. Days prior, during a routine protection payment, Huang Xiaomin had inadvertently overheard a crucial conversation. He gleaned valuable intel. Gu Minju remained unconscious, vulnerable. Du Jinfu was on edge, volatile, ready to snap. And then, the revelation, Park Suk-han had a girlfriend, a weakness to exploit. Huang Xiaomin concocted a deceitful message. He wired it to Du Jinfu. As expected, Du Jinfu discovered Gu Minsu's beating stemmed from his girlfriend's infidelity with Park Suk-ha, a member of Emperor Gang. Enraged, he dispatched his men to Incheon Girls' School. Their mission, retrieve the girl. To monitor the unfolding events, Huang Xiaomin enlisted friends to tail Du Jinfu. They reached a deserted warehouse. A window offered a clear view inside. Park Suk-ha single-handedly subdued all of Du's men. As he confronted Du Jinfu, demanding an explanation for his action, Du struck a cowardly blow. You're finished. I've loathed you, especially that repulsive leer. Du Jinfu unleashed a furious assault. He quickly dominated the fight. Anxiety filled the air as the onlookers watched. Fear gripped them. Would Park Sukhan fall? Even Huang Chaomin couldn't silence his inner thought. If Du Junfu was unbeatable, he mused. Why face him alone? Why not bring backup? Was pride the only reason for this solo mission? Du Junfu, sensing no resistance, mistook passivity for weakness and began to taunt. But Park Sukhan, oblivious to the insult, seized Du Jianfu's arm. A flawless shoulder throw followed in a blink. Du Jianfu crashed to the ground, hard. Park Sukha's foot landed squarely on his face. Blood erupted. Du Jianfu's face contorted, a tooth flew. Park Sukha's expression darkened. I've searched my memory, but I can't recall any wrongdoing that warrants such brutality. Du Jinfu, clutching his nose. Du Jinfu rose slowly, lunging again at Park Sukha. His insults continued relentlessly. Park Sukha sidestepped effortlessly, sending Du Jinfu sprawling with a simple trick. Du Jinfu got up repeatedly, only to be knocked down just as easily. Park Sukha toyed with him like a child. A forgotten warning suddenly resurfaced. The Emperor Gang isn't a one-man job. Too late. Park Sukha seized Du Jinfu's hair. He demanded answers. What exactly had Du Jinfu done? But Du Jinfu was already unconscious, defeated. Park Sukha freed his girlfriend. Just as they prepared to escape, reinforcements arrived. Observing from afar, Huang Xiaoming urged his friend to retreat. Things were about to explode. The Emperor Gang's backup had arrived. Huang Xiaoming orchestrated this chaos to seize control of Dragon Day. His justification? Subduing a supposed madman. This madman allegedly ambushed Emperor Gang's second-in-command. In a flash, the first gang was annihilated. Why resort to such extreme measures? Kidnapping someone's girlfriend is beyond outrageous. Park Sukha turned to Du Jinfu. Perhaps there's been a misunderstanding. Misunderstanding or not, that was a despicable act. A harsher lesson earlier might have prevented this. This wouldn't have happened. Those Alliance cowards used Dragon Day to provoke us, and they tried to harm our executive. Ignoring this will make us look weak. We'll lose all credibility. Park Sukha had no alternative but to concede. This surpassed personal animosity. It was about gang unity. Gang morale was at stake. We seized control of Dragon Day from the Alliance, effective immediately. Any resistance will be met with swift and decisive action. Loyalty will be made clear. Within a week, the Emperor Gang reigned supreme over Dragon Day School. Tribute from Dragon Day was now mandatory. The organizations operated fundamentally differently. The Big Phil Alliance was an interschool coalition, levying hefty school-based protection fees. The Emperor Gang, however, demanded individual tribute. It wasn't a high school entity. Huang Wudi's magnetic personality forged the Emperor Gang to prevent in-school extortion. Huang Chaomin established a firm rule. Dragon Day's members, specifically the first gang, couldn't exploit fellow students. The stated reason? This is their penalty for crossing the Emperor Gang's leader. Han Chang's frustration was palpable. Wang Chaomin smirked. Even his closest friend had to admire the move. The Emperor Gang's reputation truly precedes them. Just how thoroughly were they crushed to be this demoralized? It seems the Emperor Gang's takeover might not be so bad after all, considering anytime a student tried to borrow money, Dragon Day's top gang would instantly resort to violence. You, breaking the rule? The Emperor Gang sees everything. We'll be the ones facing consequences if caught. Quan Du Hyun erupted in fury. He then not only slung an arm around the student, but offered to buy him something from the school store. Just let him go, please. Huang Chaomin, observing from a distance, smiled, satisfied. Quan Duyan's proving more useful than anticipated. Peace, at last, reigned in the school. All conflicts were extinguished. This resulted in the top gang dominating the other delinquents. Now, my role is simple: maintain order, preserve the status quo. After all, their misdeeds will undoubtedly continue beyond these walls. The bullying won't vanish. But I'm just one person, ordinary. I can't eradicate all the scum. Regrettably, this is my limit. I can do no more. Pushing further risks arousing Park Sukho's suspicion. I can't keep provoking him. But one question lingers. Did Huang Wudi's wanderlust stem from discontent? Was he searching for something more? Lost in this thought, Huang Chaomin was startled by the sudden glow of his phone. A ringtone shattered the silence, pulling him back to reality. The teacher paused, looking up. Whose phone is that? He asked. Huang Chomin, apologetic, claimed responsibility. Confusion washed over him. His phone was silenced, no ringtone, no vibration. Yet, it was inexplicably ringing. He answered. The caller, Mahili. The name rang no bells. After school, Song Jongguk's arcade invitation was met with the usual apologies. Something came up, Huang Chomin claimed. I can't make it. Song Jongguk was stunned. What was with Huang Chomin today? Meanwhile, Huang Chomin sat in the park, waiting. Mahili's 2 messages had just arrived. She had something for him. But the real shocker? Huang Woody, of all people, had a girlfriend. Moments later, a stranger approached. Are you sent by Woody's brother? Mahili's appearance sent a blush creeping onto Huang Chomin's face. Her unexpected beauty caught him off guard. Was this girl the source of Huang Woody's discontent? And she seemed undeniably drawn to his brother. The Emperor Gang's other executives were likely aware of Mahili. If she pursued his brother further, his own safety could be jeopardized. Huang Chomin proposed a breakup. But Mahili revealed she knew Huang Wudi was dead. Wang Chomin recoiled in shock, dropping his belongings. He stammered back, What? What are you saying? Your expression confirms my suspicion. Your thoughts are transparent. How? Mahili leaned in, whispering, I killed him. You? Impossible. Huang Chomin was incredulous. You couldn't have. But she was adamant. She wasn't lying. I eliminated your brother. Huang Chomin was stunned. She even knows I have a brother? Could this be true? But he died in a truck accident. Doubt crept into Huang Chomin's mind. Mahili continued her story. That truck driver's son, your brother wronged him. He suffered greatly. The son joined the Emperor Gang, following Huang Wudi. A fight, a head injury, he died. I stopped the grieving father from ending his own life. I told him when and where to find Huang Wudi, hoping he'd deal with him. He focused his rage on Huang Wudi, the one who corrupted his son. So, I orchestrated his downfall. Isn't that right? Huang Chomin finally believed her. The day after Huang Wudi's death, I encountered Guaji Jiang. In a hurry. I learned from him that the boss called for a meeting at Jiachuan Bridge. I panicked. Thought it was a ghost. After searching Dichen police station top to bottom, I discovered it was his brother. Who collected the belongings? Huang Chomin was completely lost. Calling the police meant revealing his brother's death. Her arrogance stemmed from this knowledge. Huang Chomin asked her demands directly. If she wanted to punish the impersonation, this meeting wouldn't be happening. Let's cut to the chase. Keep impersonating the boss. Control the Emperor Gang. Crush the Big Phil Alliance. Huang Chomin was floored. What are you talking about? That's impossible. My initial goal was simple, manage my school effectively. But Mahili pressured Huang Chomin. You orchestrated Park Sukha's attack on Dragon Day, didn't you? Huang Xiaoman, was speechless. She continued relentlessly. I've been monitoring Dragon Day's activities ever since. Manipulating the rigid Park Sukha into action takes serious skill. I simply utilized available information, but she pressed further, stating, anyone else would have impersonated Huang Wudi with a plea for protection, prioritizing self-preservation above all else. Most wouldn't even dare to try. You, however, wield authority to punish wrongdoers. When it comes to eliminating the corrupt, you're ruthlessly efficient and remarkably sharp. After all, you nearly made it into the prestigious tech school. It turned out that within Dragon Day, surrounded by delinquents, Huang Chomin was the lone scholar. But defiance against his tormentor made him a prime target for brutality. Even the day before the tech school entrance exam, he was locked away, trapped in a warehouse. The exam slipped through Huang Chomin's finger. Shattered, he abandoned his studies, finding refuge in Dragon Day. Am I correct, Mahili? She challenged. Do you know your brother's actions? During your darkest hour? He colluded with the Alliance. My own flesh and blood, an Alliance member. One punch from Huang Wudi left him in a vegetative state, still unconscious, and his loyal follower took the fall, imprisoned in his stead. Absurd. It's a farce. So, she sought Huang Wudi for vengeance. But why target the Alliance relentlessly? I'm weary of both the Alliance and the Emperor Gang. Initially, I craved only Huang Wudi's downfall. My aspirations have grown. Help me obliterate this wretched battlefield. A chilling laugh erupted from her lip. Refusal comes with consequences. Be warned. I'll expose everything, and you'll be ruined. Become king, or face death. Terror seized Huang Chaomin, his legs collapsing beneath him. He crumpled to the ground. I only sought peace for the school. How did this become my reality? Was greed my downfall? Trap! Huang Chaomin succumbed to her demand. A smile returned to Mahili's face. Good boy, that's right, this was far from the end. She needed confirmation. Was he worthy of her support? Pass my test, and any request is yours. But in a flash, Mahili's expression shifted. You're even more devious than I anticipated. Flustered, Huang Chaomin tried to deflect. Just tell me the test details. Since the Emperor Gang emerged, their power expanded rapidly. But the Alliance intervened, stalling their advance, resulting in the current three-way stalemate. There's an independent faction, not part of the Alliance, yet holding strong, Qingbei High in Day District. Huang Chaomin was stunned. Unbacked, they still held their ground. They maintained a foothold. The Emperor Gang crushed Dragon Day High instantly. It's because of Jian Zaixian, the pride of Qingbei. He keeps them undefeated. Your test, use the Emperor Gang to crush Qingbei. Meanwhile, Wu Yunzi also learned of the Emperor Gang's takeover of Dragon Day. Fury coursed through him. After everything, I helped him, and this is how it ends? Beaten to a pulp. For tangling with an Emperor Gang executive's woman. But that's not the real problem. The Emperor Gang is dismantling the Alliance's power, piece by piece. And I'm the one who brought that snake, Jin Fu, into our rank. I single-handedly orchestrated the Alliance's downfall, a defeat we never should have suffered. I'll be held responsible. Overwhelmed by rage, Wu Yunzhe lashed out. He decimated everyone in the hallway. Finally, he rose. He had to find a solution, fast, before the news reached the boss. But then, the strategist called. Wu Yunzhe froze. His worst fear had materialized, too soon, but in this dire situation, he had to answer. No choice. Fighting back fear, he heard the voice say. Words reached me, expecting trouble, for dragging in a fool? Wu Yunji countered, not at all, he's a skilled fighter. A valuable asset to our forces. His subordinate, however, was baffled. That strategist? Just a kid. All talk, no action. Why this deference, boss? Well, the strategist began. Unforeseen circumstances, you see. Who'd have guessed he'd cross an emperor? An executive's girl, no less. Doesn't it strike you as odd? Dragon Day's inland location. Compared to the other two schools? Under the Alliance, the Emperor Gang should have attacked from the front line. Park Sukka's conflict avoidance stems from this, but a compelling reason forced his hand against Dragon Day. Wu Yunzai blamed the unhinged Du Junfu. The strategist disagreed. He tasked Wu Yunzai with uncovering the true motive behind the Emperor Gang's attack. As for the chairman, I'll vouch for you. I'll put in a good word. Using his dead brother's phone, the young man posed as H country's gangster emperor. His charade was short-lived. His false identity quickly unraveled. Exposed, he pleaded for mercy. He begged his brother's men to spare his life. The captains were unmoved, facing imminent death. He jolted awake, terror still gripping him. His brother's girlfriend orchestrated the nightmare. Her threat, sabotage Qingbi or face exposure. She'd reveal Huang Chaomin's impersonation. Left with no choice, he personally scouted the enemy. This was Jin Zhejian's turf, after all, Qingbi Mountain's reigning champion. Even Huang Wudi couldn't easily breach its defenses. He needed a different approach. Huang Chaomin was abruptly intercepted by students, mere steps from the entrance. They dragged him into a secluded corner for interrogation. Alliance or Emperor Gang? Who sent you? Huang Xiaomin's uniform betrayed him. He wasn't from Qingbei High. The commotion drew a crowd. Among them, Jin Zhejian. His eyes narrowed. A potential Alliance spy in his territory. Pressure mounted on Huang Xiaomin. Cold sweat trickled down. They were ready to beat him senseless. Jin Zhejian intervened. A beating was excessive. One punch would suffice. He assumed a fighting stance. Prepare yourself, he warned. Next life, steer clear of Qingbi. Huang Xiaomin blurted out. Emperor Gang infiltrators are here. Jin Zhejian froze. Huang Xiaomin exhaled, relieved. That punch could have been fatal. He might not have survived. Two subordinates exchanged skeptical glances. This guy was talking nonsense. Explain yourself, Jin Zhejian demanded. What did you mean by that? Huang Xiaomin answered. The Emperor Gang is targeting Qingbai. They're investigating us from the inside. They've planted a spy in this school. Check the third-floor bathroom. You'll see. Lie to me, and that punch was just to warm up. An unfamiliar face was found. Jin Zhejian paused, then turned to Huang Chaomin. Huang Chaomin, ready to reveal a crucial piece of the puzzle, his true identity. He claimed to have insider knowledge on every move of the Emperor Gang, and he was offering assistance. Turns out, just moments ago, Huang Chaomin had contacted a low-level Emperor Gang member. He instructed this member to sneak into the third-floor bathroom and wait for further commands. The unsuspecting member, a mere pawn in Huang Chaomin's game, stripped bare and about to be discarded. This ensured Huang Chaomin's clean escape from Qingbai. That fool was smarter than he looked. He saw through everything. Should have beaten the information out of him sooner, but no use crying over spilled milk. We got what we needed, Zhejian bro. You're not seriously considering trusting that kid, are you? He's shady, and that Dragon Day High uniform. He's practically a sworn enemy of the Emperor Gang. Makes sense he'd want to take us down. His own school fell victim to the Emperor Gang's takeover. The gang's movements signal an impending attack. I won't let Qingbai descend into chaos again, not while I'm here. Whatever schemes he has, we'll address them after this crisis. Huang Chaomin, upon returning, immediately reported to Mahili. Instead of praise, she demanded swift action. If the alliance claims Qingbai first, the consequences will be dire. Huang Chaomin felt trapped. He was vulnerable, thanks to the witch's leverage. Meanwhile, the alliance dispatched Captain Zhang Taijun of the 10th Squad. He immediately identified a critical issue. The Qingbai fighters are strong, but strangely inactive. Doesn't that seem suspicious? Pei Dongda pondered this observation. He was stumped. So he deflected the question. Zhang Taijun smirked. Figure it out yourself. It's for your own good. To give his brother the perfect learning environment, he became utterly ruthless. He crushed the local thugs and united Qingbai High's delinquents, but his actions sparked resentment. He never sought more power, only caring for his brother. Huang Chaomin, eavesdropping at the door, heard everything. He went to Qingbai Middle School, asking around, until he found Jin Zhejian's brother, Jin Taiyang. Taiyang mistook Huang Chaomin for an underling, and followed him to the cafeteria. His last meal. Huang Chaomin had already sent a message, delivered to the Emperor Gang. Jin Taiyang, ambushed in Day District in 30 minutes. Now, he just needed a believable reason to lure him there. But Huang Chaomin issued a cautious warning. Don't be so trusting. Jin Taiyang was confused. Why the sudden suspicion? Am I wrong? Huang Chaomin pressed. You follow me blindly. What if I were your brother's enemy? You know how powerful my brother is, Jin Taiyang countered. Even if I got into trouble, he'd rescue me. Huang Chaomin challenged. What if you were outnumbered? Jin Taiyang dismissed the concern. That's nothing. My brother has plenty of men. Their disagreement escalated into a full-blown argument, but Jin Taiyang's belief remained unshaken. He was certain his brother would come. A promise made at their father's funeral guaranteed it. I swear, I'll always have your back. The brother stayed true to his word. Once, classmates were bullying me. He found out and instantly raced to my rescue. He didn't stop until every bully was down. Wang Chaomin was completely stunned. He remembered pleading with his own brother for help. Clenching his fists, envy stabbed at him, but he rose to his feet. He would lead Jin Taiyang to the Emperor Gang's ambush. His life was in the witch's grasp, after all. If Qingbai doesn't fall, I'm the one who'll die. No one is truly selfless. At the meeting point, Wang Chaomin made an excuse and slipped away. But Jin Taiyang answered his earlier question. I trusted you, he said, because I thought you were a good man. He bowed his thanks to Huang Chaomin. Those simple words changed everything for Huang Chaomin. He raced towards the school with Jin Taiyang. A realization struck him. Jin Zhejian wasn't playing games, he had a different motive. He was shielding his brother's innocence, not indulging in gang violence. He'd sacrifice everything to preserve their bond, even his own life. Meanwhile, Jin Seiken trained relentlessly in the gym. A subordinate burst in, interrupting his workout. He delivered urgent news to Jin Seiken. Young Taejong had arrived at Qingbai Middle School. Jin Zhejian's expression turned gray. He scrambled towards the school, jacket askew. He raced against time. But he was too late. Huang Xiaoman was brutally kicked aside. Thugs materialized behind Jin Taeyong. As predicted, Zhang Taijun effortlessly captured Jin Taeyong. He taunted Jin Zhejian with a message: "Your brother's life depends on you. Come alone to the location on the map." Trapped in a room with others, Jin Taeyong still tried to act tough. But Zhang Taijun shut him down with a swift kick to the face. Grabbing his hair, Zhang Taijun delivered a chilling message: "Not even your brother can save you this time. The entire strike team is here. 50 men could take down a fighting king, and you're completely at our mercy." When Jin Zhejian arrives, he'll be begging for mercy. A nearby subordinate asked Zhang Taizhang, "What about the other one?" Zhang Taizhang ordered, "Just to be safe, keep him locked up until this is over." The moment they left, Huang Xiaoman freed himself. A strategically placed nail had been his key to escape. He rushed to Jin Taeyong's side, ready to remove the gag. But he found Jin Taeyong in tears, babbling incoherently. Huang Xiaoman offered a reassuring pat on the shoulder, saying, "We'll be all right." Jin Taeyong's tears abruptly stopped. He cautiously approached the door. A peek outside revealed a throng of people. Escape seemingly impossible. Escape was blocked. They were trapped. My second phone, a stroke of luck. We'd be stuck otherwise. Time to call in the Emperor Gang. Under the guise of capturing Jin Taeyong, chaos will erupt, creating our escape route. Two brothers, facing similar torment, reacted in starkly different ways. Two gangster brothers, two different responses to bullying. One brother, filled with disdain, issued a chilling threat: "Don't ever call yourself my brother again, or I'll finish you myself." The other brother, fiercely loyal, was ready to sacrifice everything for revenge. Now, to rescue his kidnapped brother, he endured relentless beatings. Without a single retaliatory strike, his brother's safety still weighed heavily on his mind. This only fueled the other side's rage. A kick landed him on the ground. Jin Zhejian rose, stepped forward, and issued a warning: "Harm a single hair on Taeyong's head, and I'll end you." The threat sent chills down the man's spine. To mask his fear, he ordered a full-on attack against Jin Zhejian. Jin Zhejian remained defiant, absorbing the blow. Meanwhile, Huang Xiaoman devised a cunning plan, a plan to preserve the brothers' bond and dismantle Xingbai. His solution: summon the Emperor Gang, using Jin Taeyong's capture as a pretense. Amidst the ensuing chaos, he'd escape with Jin Taeyong. Suddenly, a figure burst through the container door. He paused, eyeing them both. "Which one is Jin Taeyong?" Silence met his question. A short-haired man stormed in, fury etched on his face. He was swiftly dealt with. One punch, down he went. He turned and spotted Jin Taeyong on the uniform. He reached for Jin Taeyong, but a blindside attack. He stumbled, recovered. Huang Xiaoman, terrified, yelled, "Run!" Jin Taeyong bolted. The attacker tried to intercept, but Huang Xiaoman lunged. He choked the man with a steel rod. Thrown off, the hold was broken. Jin Taeyong, thankfully, had escaped, but Huang Xiaoman was in danger. Jin Taeyong ran relentlessly. Exhaustion didn't matter. Huang Xiaoman's words fueled him. "Your brother might be strong, but he won't risk you. So, once you're out, confirm your safety with him. I have a backup phone, but it's unusable for calls right now. Head straight to the vacant lot near Mia building. The Big Phil Alliance just proposed a deal. Jin Zhejian's brother's life, for one of Jin's leg." A hammer was presented. Fair trade, they claimed. Shockingly, Jin Zhejian agreed without a flicker of hesitation. But first, Taeyong's safety needed verification. Pei Dong dispatched a call to confirm. The other end remained stubbornly silent. Suddenly, a voice pierced the tension. "I'm all right, brother." Jin Taeyong waved from the empty lot. Safe and sound. Pei Dong saw it. Two subordinates were instantly ordered to seize him. Then, the unexpected. Jin Zhejian, a whirlwind of action, grabbed a subordinate in each arm. He slammed them into the ground, knocking them out cold. Jin Zhejian rose again. Murderous intent filled his eyes. "Pei Dong." Instinctively sensing the danger, Pei Dong blurted out, "We're doomed." Huang Xiaoman had tasted the Emperor Gang's terror before, but only through a phone. He underestimated their true power. He never imagined a single underling could so easily dominate him. "So, my brother was always above these monsters. If not for Jin Taeyong," the man stated, "you'd be dead." But Huang Xiaolan wouldn't let him escape. Based on Jin Taeyong's words, only a fraction had joined Jin Zhejian. If Jin Taeyong's absence was discovered, the remaining forces could converge on Jin Zhejian. He taunted, running away? The man froze. He turned back to Huang Xiaoman. What did you say? Huang Chaomin echoed the taunt. Are you running? Trying to provoke me, the man sneered. Congratulations, you succeeded. He lunged at Huang Xiaomin. Huang Xiaomin evaded the attack. He reached for a discarded weapon. But a swift kick landed squarely on Huang Xiaomin's backside. Huang Xiaomin went flying. You sneaky. Trying to use a weapon again, the man roared. Real men use their fists. And mine are harder than iron. One round was all it took. Huang Xiaomin was badly beaten. I don't understand. Your arrogance, rookie. I expected skill. But you're pathetically weak. Huang Xiaomin struggled to his feet. The man's words triggered a memory of his brother. Huang Xiaomin lunged again. With a surge of strength, he slammed the man back onto a protruding nail. The sharp sting of pierced flesh sent the man into a furious chase. He roared after the fleeing Huang Xiaoming. Unbeknownst to him, he'd already sprung Huang Xiaoming's trap. Earlier, when kicked onto the shelf, its immovability hinted at extraordinary weight. So, when Huang Xiaoming fell, he jammed a steel rod into the cabinet. Leverage. He needed to pry a gap in the shell, no matter the weight. He could topple it. And in a flash, an avalanche of items rained down. The man gaped, frozen in shock. The next second, the shelf slammed into him, immobilized, completely. Huang Chaomin exhaled, relief washing over him. Musclehead, he scoffed. Anything tougher than iron out there? Qingbi's comeback starts now. A surprise arrival shakes up the battlefield. It's Guo Jiyang, the Emperor Gang's second-in-command. He greets Jin Zhejian with a smile. What's going on? There's a saying in this strength-obsessed school, never mess with someone in a black jacket. They belong to the formidable Emperor Gang. This is Guo Jiyang, the Emperor Gang's second squad captain. Pei Dong is taken aback. Why is Guo Jiyang here? But Guo Jiyang's concern for Jin Zhejian raises suspicion. Guo Jiyang quickly clarifies, he's not here to fight, but to advise. He offers guidance. Jin Zhejian cuts him off. If you're trying to recruit me, you're too late. The crisis is over. Qingbi members flood the street. So get lost, Jin Zhejian commands. I'm not interested in an unfair fight. Vo Shijiang smirked. You'll regret this. He turned and walked away. Meanwhile, Pei Dong bolted, clearly unwilling to engage. Zaixian's men swarmed him, anxious about his condition. Should we pursue and eliminate him? One asked. Let the fool go, Jin Zaixian commanded. He's learned his lesson. Someone that weak could never defeat Qingbi. As two men helped Jin Zaixian up, the unthinkable happened. A man raised a hammer, aiming for a cowardly blow. But his shadow gave him away. In a flash, Jin Zaixian sent the attacker flying with a brutal back kick. He glared at the remaining men. What is the meaning of this? Before anyone could speak, a voice cut through the air. Need you even ask? Betrayal, plain and simple. Zheng Taijuan's hands tightened around Jin Taiyun's throat. Jin Taiyun had just sought refuge with the Qingbi group. Shockingly, they had already sided with Big Phil, betraying Jin. They had joined the Big Phil alliance. When did this begin? Jin demanded. Their response was swift. The moment we realized you were using us to shield your brother, we're not your bodyguards. We want to carve our own path in Big Phil's world, to put it more bluntly. Their brutal honesty sent Jin spiraling into deep contemplation. He had desperately tried to shield Taiyuan from the encroaching violence, but his efforts were futile. He couldn't halt the inevitable tide. He'd failed to stop the descent. Zheng Taijun had orchestrated this outcome all along. His goal, absorb Qingbi into the Big Phil alliance. He had manipulated Jin's own people, fueling dissent and negativity. He'd poisoned the well of public opinion. A snag hit Zheng Taijuan's meticulously crafted plan. The container situation? Completely unforeseen. He'd underestimated the strike team's competence. Locking up the deadweight was a calculated move. It paved the way for Huang Chaomin's intervention. Orchestrating a crisis was the objective. A crisis young Taejon's brilliance could resolve. He'd anticipated the strike team's imminent failure. This was all part of his grand design. Thus far, Qingbi was crucial in their battle against Emperor Gang. Conquering Qingbi single-handedly? Ultimate strategic validation. He craved the recognition as a mastermind. He taunted Jin Taejon. Witness your brother's downfall, orchestrated by his own men. Jin Zaijian, battered and bruised, wavered, but his spirit remained unbroken, defiant. He challenged them all. Seeking battlefield glory? Prove it. Try taking me down. His words barely finished when his body collapsed to its knees. Tears streamed down Jin Taeyong's face at the sight. He knew his brother was at his limit. The Qingbai crowd, however, remained frozen, expecting Jin Zhejian to plead for mercy. They were stunned by his defiant stand. One Qingbai member goaded another. Does he think nothing of us? He dares to face us alone? Young Taejong sneered, show Jin Zhejian the true terror of the Qingbai. Before the words left his mouth, Jin Taeyang sank his teeth into his own arm. The sharp pain forced young Taejong to loosen his grip. Jin Taeyang bolted free, shielding his brother. Touch my brother, he warned, and you'll regret it. Huang Chaomin's words echoed in his mind. Now, it's your turn to save him. Zhang Taijun declared, then I'll send you both to hell. Misery loves company. Suddenly, Wei Sijiang appeared. He sent a subordinate flying with a kick. A strange thought crossed his mind. The boss's predictions were eerily accurate. Jin Zhejian was utterly baffled. Weren't you leaving? Wei Sijiang asked. Just a bathroom break, he replied casually. Confusion reigned among the others. Giji Jian's presence was a complete mystery. Alliance? Lucky you, Giji Jian sneered. You misunderstand, he clarified. Qingbai isn't about those insignificant pawns. It solely refers to Jin Zhejian. They're nothing without him. You dare rebel? You overestimate yourself. Enraged, the Qingbei members attacked. Wei Sijiang sidestepped the blow. His counterpunch landed squarely in the attacker's chest. The man went down hard. Just then, a sneak attack landed on Wei Sijiang's back. Unfazed, he seized his attacker's head. Your foolishness fueled that reckless move, he sneered. Boast about this. You just punched Giji Jiang of the Emperor Gang. Wei Jijiang retaliated with a brutal headbutt. He discarded the stunned underling like garbage. Wei Jijiang surveyed the fallen duo, and erupted in manic laughter. Who's next? He taunted. Silence. No one dared challenge him. He was Hua Jizhong, after all. The Emperor Gang's formidable second squad captain. Hua Jizhong beckoned them forward. Come at me, all of you. Don't you want a bragging right? Why did Qingbi Mountains prize Jin Zhejian? Join the Emperor Gang? Because Huang Chaomin revealed the truth about our leader, Huang Wudi. His brother was dead, and he was impersonating him. He was pulling the strings of the Emperor Gang, using his dead brother's phone. Huang Chaomin revealed. I'm trusting you with this because you're not tied to any faction, and because you deeply value brotherhood, Jin Zhejian countered. All I know is one brother is standing in for another. Why should I join the Emperor Gang? Huang Chaomin explained his plan for Big Phil. I want to wipe out this pointless warzone in Big Phil. No more alliance, no more Emperor Gang. But it's tough to move forward while constantly lying to the Emperor Gang's leader. So, I need you to become the Emperor Gang's 4th squad captain. Just in name, in reality, you'll be my partner. The old Jin Zhejian would have refused instantly, to protect Qingbi. But things were different now. Qingbi had been bought out by the alliance, betrayed and indebted to Gu Shijun. Jin Zhejian saw it all. Qingbai was trapped in the alliance's web. The Emperor Gang's influence and Wang Xiaoman's offer left no room for refusal. A quick change of clothes led to a shocking encounter. Jin Zhejian faced his brother's attacker. The culprit? The event planner. Ranked 10th, but still a force within the alliance. A prominent figure nonetheless. Against a weary Jin Zhejian, he held a surprising advantage, showing no fear. Jin Zhejian was swiftly brought down. Onlookers watched with mounting anxiety. Huang Chaomin prepared to intervene, but Jin Taeyang stopped him. His faith in his brother was unwavering. As Zhang Taijun aimed for the final blow, Jin Zhejian found his footing. A swift sidekick landed squarely in Zhang Taijun's face. With Zhang Taijun down, he slowly rose, exploiting a crucial moment. That split second cost young Taejun dearly, leaving him unable to evade Jin Zhejian's next blow. He took the full force of Jin Zhejian's punch square in the face. The impact sent him flying 10 meters, crashing into a wall. Victorious, Jin Zhejian grumbled about his tight clothes, but his triumph was short-lived. He faltered. His injured body swayed precariously. Jin Taeyang rushed to his side, catching him. As Jin Taeyang supported him, Huang Chaomin approached Zhang Taijun. He searched Zhang Taijun's body. Jin Zhejian observed this intently. He suspected Huang Chaomin saw a recruitment opportunity. Huang Chaomin must have anticipated his subordinate's betrayal. The capture of Jin Zhejian and his brother was no secret to Huang Chaomin. 2 constantly connected phones provided the answer. He'd overheard every word from Zhang Taijun. Despite this, Jin Zhejian harbored distrust for Huang Chaomin. Yet, for potential future gain, he wouldn't dare harm his own golden goose. Days after the uprising, the Emperor Gang officially inaugurated its 4th squad. The mood was strangely subdued. Silence, no applause. Hua Zhijiang was baffled. He couldn't decipher their icy reception. Then, first squad captain Park Suk-ho approached and explained the chilling silence. Jin Zaijin's made plenty of enemies. He's crossed more than a few. Forcing them to accept a former foe as their captain breeds resentment. It's only natural. Park Suk-ho confronted Jin Zaijin directly. Frankly, your motives are suspect. Why join the Emperor Gang now? You previously shunned the chaos. Yet now you embrace it. A frigid silence descended. All eyes locked onto the three captains. Caught in the crosshairs was Zijing. Felt a prickle of unease. He regretted expecting a warm welcome. Actually, he thought, I quite like it. Jin Zaijin broke the tense silence. I'm not here because I admire you, Jin declared. I'm not here for Big Phil glory either. I'm here for the boss. I follow his vision. That's all. His words left the other captains speechless. Stunned silence hung in the air. Finally, Park Suk-ho stepped forward, former enemy or not. Jin's skill was undeniable. For the greater good. We set aside grudges. Talent is welcomed. The boss expects it. His word is law. No objections here. Welcome to the team. Park Suk-ho extended his hand. Wei Zijing quickly added his welcome. Let's have some judgment here, people. The handshake ignited a thunderous applause. And with that, Jin Zaijin rose as the Emperor Gang's newest squad captain, the fourth. Meanwhile, inside a dimly lit bar, the Big Phil Alliance's strategist voiced a chilling theory. Huang Wudi was gone. How much hatred could one harbor for their own brother? Enough to obliterate everything he held dear? But his strange actions triggered alarm bells for his brother's old nemesis. The strategist knew Huang Wudi wouldn't abandon his ally, yet he was fiercely battling for Dragon Day, a strategically insignificant territory. Victory at Dragon Day came at a steep price. The Emperor Gang suffered devastating losses. It felt less like a conquest, more like a purge. The unexpected victors? The students. Finally, they could study without fear. All signs pointed to one conclusion: Huang Wudi was currently out of direct command. That imposter must be manipulating the gang's leadership. He's pulling the strings from the shadows. Upon hearing this, Wu Yunzi was invigorated. He saw a golden opportunity to crush the Emperor Gang, but the strategist swiftly shut him down. He ordered absolute secrecy. A potential leak within the alliance was suspected. If the Emperor Gang descended into chaos, the alliance could capitalize. However, the Emperor Gang's power was formidable. Park Suk-ho, after all, the Emperor Gang's first squad captain, was a force to be reckoned with. Huang Wudi's old friend, a born leader, he was a likely successor. A more cautious approach was suggested. Unmask and eliminate the impersonator. Seize control of the Emperor Gang. We can control them completely. Intriguing, wouldn't you agree? Wu Yunzi saw madness in the strategist's eye. What are your thoughts on my strategy? Ingenious, perhaps, but Wu Yunzi felt a shiver of dread. The strategist's words echoed the ravings of a lunatic. Elsewhere, Huang Chomin grappled with a critical shortage of troops. Jin Zaijin's forces posed a formidable threat. In a mere fortnight, starting from Qingbei, he had conquered 3 neighboring territories. Their next target, the alliance's own land. Their current numbers were simply insufficient. Defense would prove incredibly difficult. To truly dominate, they needed a game changer. They needed elite players capable of inspiring the rank and file. After deliberation, Huang Chomin decided to reassign personnel from the top 2 squads, but Mahili, appearing unexpectedly, vetoed the plan. The Emperor Gang isn't a company, she explained. Their top players joined out of respect for Huang Wudi, not for a paycheck. Their loyalty lies with Huang Wudi, their admired leader. Ultimately, their dedication stems from loyalty to their respective captain. Years of service have forged unbreakable bonds. They've followed their captains for years. Suddenly placing them under Jin Zaijin would breed resentment. It would trigger a leadership crisis. Expect significant pushback against new leadership. That's why new recruits are assigned to the 4th squad. Calling it a transfer guarantees failure. We need fresh recruits. A simple transfer would alienate them. New blood is the only solution. Jin Zaijin supports this approach. He's asking for everyone's cooperation. This seemingly straightforward request overwhelms Huang Chomin. He's already juggling too many responsibilities to counter the alliance discreetly while protecting his identity. He needs a stronger 4th squad. Furthermore, Huang Chomin was at a loss on how to recruit strong fighters. Lost in thought, he walked blindly and collided with someone. Snapping back to reality, Huang Chomin looked up. He was face to face with Zheng Hisu, his former bully, brutally beaten by the Emperor Gang for tormenting Huang Chomin. Surprisingly, he was back. And it seemed Guo Jijian recognized his fighting prowess. Guo Jijian. How could he recruit him for the 4th squad? But wouldn't that provoke the Emperor Gang? As Huang Chaomin pondered. Jiang Hisu sent him flying. It hit Huang Chaomin. Jiang Hisu had been hospitalized. He was unaware of the school's recent changes, oblivious to everything. Long time no see, Jiang Hisu sneered. You've got guts blocking my way, Huang Chaomin. Consider this payback. For Han Chang his earlier fall. I'll beat you half to death. Suddenly, a hand landed on Jiang Hisu's shoulder. Your violent greeting is truly repulsive. What if he's hiding his power? He could be a Kun master. Am I afraid of that? No, that's why I never start fights. Jiang Hisu was utterly bewildered. Who was this stranger? The white-haired man pressed his forehead to Jiang Hisu. I'm the new transfer student, he declared. Problem? Any objections? A crowd quickly gathered. Whispers speculated on the victor. Humiliated, Jiang Hisu struck first. His opponent was no ordinary student. The white-haired student dodged, then countered with a facial blow. One punch, Jiang Hisu was out cold. But just then, the first gang arrived. Their target, the numbered white-haired guy. The white-haired guy felt trapped. He shielded his head. Even new kids shouldn't be underestimated. Don't you guys know the manga rules? With a crook of his finger, he challenged them all. First day, and the transfer student already provoked the boss. The showdown, after school, under the bridge. But he strolled in, completely unfazed, with a single, chilling line. He sent the bully running scared. Turns out, Jin Lichun despised Jiang Hisu's bullying. He taught him a lesson. But this infuriated the first gang. The bell saved him. Otherwise, escape might have been impossible. Jin Lichun walked into a classroom filled with a palpable tension. He cracked a joke to lighten the mood. His attempt at humor fell flat. His laughter echoed in the silent classroom. Stone-faced classmates stared back. Jokes weren't appreciated, no one cracked a smile. Let's get serious, he declared. Anyone know Huang Wudi's whereabouts? The question stunned the room. Even Huang Chaomin was taken aback. Jin Lucan was about to press further, but the teacher intervened. Personal inquiries can wait, she stated. Any volunteers to be Jin Luchuan's guide? Silence met her request. She prepared to choose a student at random. Suddenly, Huang Chaomin stepped forward. He needed to understand Jin Lucan. The missing person was his brother, after all. The bell rang, dismissing the class. Jin Lucan turned to Huang Chaomin with an invitation. Grabbing a bite at the school store, Huang Chaomin saw a chance to uncover the reason behind the search for Huang Wudi. Just as he was about to speak, a sudden shove from behind sent him reeling. Wang Chaomin lost his balance, tumbling towards the stairs. Jin Lichun reacted instantly, catching him just in time. Jin Lichun's eyes darted sideways, wondering if the culprit realized the potential consequences. That shove could have sent someone plummeting down the stairs. The newcomer was Du Juanfu, the notorious leader of the first gang, looking for trouble. Huang Chaomin recognized him instantly, and quietly alerted Jin Lichun. But Jin Lichun showed no fear. He boldly demanded an apology from Du Juanfu. Du Juanfu's henchman sneered. Pan Chong even taunted Huang Chaomin. Switched sides, have you? Picking the transfer student? This infuriated Jin Luchun. He confronted Han, saying, You melon-headed shrimp. Siding with them? Unbelievable, Jin Fu remarked. Want an apology? Meet me after school, under the Jiachuan Bridge. They turned and walked away. Seeing their defiance, Huang Chaomin wanted to call for backup. He planned to teach them a lesson. But Jin Lucan, itching for a fight, wanted to head straight to the underpass. Huang Chaomin frantically tried to stop him. They'll fight dirty, he warned. Don't waste your time. If that's how it is, Jin Lichun declared, I have to go even more. His determination stemmed from an incident 2 years prior. A simple bump from my friend triggered a brutal beatdown of everyone in sight. Terrified, I pleaded on my knee. I barely escaped with my life, but that day ignited a fire in me. Revenge would be mine. Never again would I bow to wickedness. I'll face anyone, no matter how powerful. I won't run. Huang Chaomin was consumed with worry. Just how much havoc had his brother wreaked? His plan, lure assassins with a bounty on his head. After class, Jin Lichun arrived at the designated spot. The first gang planned a collective beatdown, but they held back. Instead, they interrogated him. After all, a freshman hunting Huang Wudi was audacious. Any foul play from the newcomer would trigger the Emperor Gang's intervention. Huang Chaomin had ordered Jin Zizhen to keep an eye on the freshman. He could be a potential ally, Huang Chaomin had said, but we can't let him pursue a dead enemy. Jin Luchen's opening words were a bombshell. The Big Phil Alliance's strategist, he claimed, had told him where to find Huang Wudi. He'd said Dragon Day was the key. They dismissed it as a bluff. Until he described the strategist, Du Juanfu went pale. Wu Yenji had mentioned this before. The strategist's identity was a closely guarded secret within the alliance. Shockingly, this transfer student knew. He actually knew the strategist. Ji Lichun offered no explanation. Come at me, he challenged. I won't hold back just because you're upperclassmen. Du Junfu swiftly intervened, stopping his subordinate. He prevented them from attacking the newcomer. Follow me, Du Junfu commanded, and no unnecessary questions. Only Jin Luchen remained, utterly bewildered. The seemingly weak guy was a force to be reckoned with. His name alone sent them running scared. Brutalized in middle school, the young man craved revenge. He swore to never again yield to evil. He vowed to fight back. But as Jin Luchen grew stronger, the dragon-jacketed figure vanished. The strategist approached Jin Luchun with information. The man's name? Huang Wudi. Huang Wudi, leader of the formidable Emperor Gang, a major power player within Big Phil. To find him, the strategist advised a transfer. Destination, Dragon Day. Jin Luchun's first day? Immediate confrontation. He clashed with the school's reigning bully. The strategist's reputation barely prevented a brawl. Even so, the encounter drew attention. Many eyes were on him, including one key observer. Jin Zizhen, 4th Squad captain of the Emperor Gang, took notice. That night, a call to Huang Chaomin. Details were shared. The conversation was muffled. Jin Luchen and Du Juanfu's words were indistinct. Distance obscured the specifics, but the gist was clear. Du Juanfu didn't just let the newcomer go. He ran. He was terrified. The call ended abruptly. Huang Chaomin was left deeply unsettled. After a considerable silence, Mahili questioned the need for such gravity. Huang Chaomin countered, sensing underlying complexity. Du Jinfu, despite superior numbers, retreated unexpectedly. A brief exchange with Jin Luchen preceded his departure. Fear, not numbers, prompted his retreat. Beyond the Emperor Gang's influence, only the alliance held such power. Mahili inquired pointedly. Is Jin Luchen connected to the alliance? Elsewhere, events unfolded predictably. Jin Luchen recounted the day's events to Lu Shangcai. Lu Shangcai couldn't resist mocking Luchen's recklessness, momentarily speechless. Jin Luchen shifted the conversation. Impressive, Lu Shangcai, he conceded. Your name alone instilled fear in their leader. Lu Shangcai attributed their fear to the alliance. Past conflicts fueled their apprehension. Incidentally, any luck finding Huang Wudi? Jin Lichun reassured, don't worry, it's day one, I'll find him. Lu Shangcai pressed, he must be wondering about your connection. The question stumped Jin Luchen. But Lu Shangcai offered no explanation. Back at school, Wang Chaomin probed for information. Know anyone in Big Phil? He asked. Revenge rarely strikes in unfamiliar territory. Jin Luchun, unguarded, spilled the bean. Hearing about Big Phil's strategist, Huang Chaomin froze. Mahili's prior description, brilliant, ruthless, sparked a terrifying thought. Had the strategist deduced the fake boss's location? Was Jin Luchen a pawn? A pawn to threaten someone in Dragon Day? At this rate, the suspect pool shrinks drastically. Huang Chaomin decides on a direct approach. He requests a meeting with Jin Luchuan's strategist. Meanwhile, Lu Shangcai rides in a Maybach. The driver lays on the flattery, he's eager to impress the young master. Lu Shangcai recognizes the driver's inexperience. He offers a gentle warning. My parents prefer quiet, he states. It doesn't matter with me. But tread carefully around them. I understand, he continues. People are fascinated by those from different worlds. He glances at his phone. Jin Luchuan's message, are you free? Yu Shangcai pauses before responding. He mentally reviews his strategy. He's successfully hidden Huang Wudi's secret, ceased to exist. Exploiting Jin Luchuan's thirst for vengeance, he positioned him within Dragon Day. He anticipated a clash between Jin Luchun and the local thug. Du Juanfu lived up to expectation. He successfully antagonized Jin Luchen. By now, word of Jin Luchun's connection to the alliance strategist had likely spread. The news was out. If an imposter led Dragon Day, they'd deduce his plan to use Jin Luchen to deflect suspicion. A reaction was inevitable. His predictions were unfolding perfectly. Within 24 hours, a meeting request arrived. Unbelievable. The teacher's prized pupil, was the Black Gang's ruthless mastermind. Under his leadership, the shattered remnant of Big Phil's alliance challenged the Emperor Gang. He concluded Huang Wudi was an impostor. To expose the fraud, he opted for a private confrontation with the suspect. Simultaneously, Huang Chomin reached out to Jin Zizhen. His hope? Zizhen could assemble a team to apprehend the strategist. Upon first glimpsing the strategist, Huang Chomin was visibly taken aback. The strategist was not only his aide, but also a student at the city's most prestigious academy. Chomin initially suspected a decoy, but Jin Lukun clearly recognized him. Lost for words, Jin Lukun abruptly excused himself to the restroom. "You two talk," he said. His departure left a palpable tension. Lu Shangsai cut to the chase. "Perhaps you're unaware, but despite being the Alliance's strategist, I avoid the front lines. Anonymity is my preference." Why the stammering, Huang Chomin? Could it be fear of becoming the Emperor Gang's next target? "Impressive," Lu Shangsai remarked. "You're surprisingly well informed. Those digging for my true identity are primarily Emperor Gang affiliate." He turned to Huang Chomin, questioning, "Why this meeting? Are you here to silence me too?" Suddenly, they were surrounded. Lu Shangsai remained utterly calm. A sly grin spread across his face. "What a fool," he thought. "Now I know you're the imposter." Nearby patrons subtly closed in, anticipating trouble. Lu Shangsai had planted allies amongst the crowd. He remained hidden, however, and issued the attack command. But only after confirming Emperor Gang involvement. Victory seemed assured, but then, the Emperor Gang struck Huang Chomin. Lu Shangsai was stunned. They demanded, "You dare defy Emperor Gang policy? Instigating trouble on campus. Unauthorized, and your accomplice deserves punishment as well." Meanwhile, Jin Lichuan, exiting the restroom, witnessed the chaos. Enraged, he was ready to intervene, but a sudden rush of people stopped him. They clashed with the Emperor Gang. If Lu Shangsai hadn't yelled, Jin Lukun would still be observing. He realized the rumors were true. The Emperor Gang was disciplining Dragon Day. Huang Chomin's earlier order wasn't to apprehend the strategist, but to punish Jin Lukun. He and his classmate faced consequences for the school conflict. The strategist's situation needed a discreet resolution, avoiding suspicion from both the Emperor Gang and the Alliance. A flawless victory was the goal. Concealed in the shadows, Jin Zizhen. He confessed his inability to rival Huang Chomin. "Just how formidable are you?" Huang Chomin seized the moment. "Let's test our wits. Ever wonder why I requested this meeting? I'm Huang Wudi's brother." Facing the strategist, Huang Chomin played his hand. He opted for brutal honesty. Not only did he reveal his connection to Huang Wudi, but he also disclosed his brother's recent death in a car accident. In that instant, Jin Lichuan excused himself, citing work obligation. The air between them turned frigid. After all, Lu Shangsai's revelation to Huang Chomin stemmed from suspicion. He suspected a deception. He doubted the authenticity of the supposed boss. A true leader wouldn't readily release the Big Phil Alliance's strategist. His plan, eliminate the pre-arranged individual. He awaited the Emperor Gang's arrival, but the Emperor Gang wasn't there for him. Jin Luchun's actions caught him completely off guard. Even so, two possibilities remain. 1. Huang Chomin was a genuine admirer. 2. He possessed exceptional cunning. The reason ultimately didn't matter. He was just a student, after all. He'd have him seized and interrogated later. As they prepared to part ways, Huang Chomin dropped a bombshell. Yu Shangsai was momentarily stunned. He couldn't fathom the other man's motive. Huang Xiaoman explained, Jin Luchun was a good man. He shouldn't waste time seeking vengeance against the dead. He was concerned it could create a rift between Lu Shangsai and Jin Luchun. After all, Jin Luchun trusted Lu Shangsai implicitly. That's why he came to Big Phil. That's why Huang Xiaoman sought him out. Initially, he feared a hostile reception, and planned to remain silent. But you possess a surprising amount of insight. He hoped Lia Shangzai would grasp his implication. To maintain his smiling genius facade, he had to confide in Jin Luchun. Losing Jin Luchun meant losing his investigative access within Dragon Day. Strategist, what's your next move? The response was unexpected. Jin Luchun. Already suspects Huang Wudi is dead. His goal, expose the impostor. Huang Chomin's blood ran cold. He was being cornered. Lu Shangsai was onto him. He feigned understanding, while inwardly panicking. Lu Shangsai clarified. The Emperor Gang was unaware. of the impersonation. He sought the hidden mastermind and spots a chance to seize control. He'd hoped Wang Chaomin would play along, feigning ignorance, but Wang Chaomin instantly saw through Lu Shangzai's deception. Jin Luchen was in the dark about all of this, yet, bound by Lu Shangzai's order, revealing the truth to Jin Luchen would expose his attempts to obstruct the investigation. Lu Shangzai inquired, "Why no funeral for Huang Wudi?" Huang Chaomin went cold, sweat beading on his skin. He hadn't anticipated the lingering suspicion. Recovering quickly, he claimed a lack of funds for a proper burial, a flimsy excuse, but as long as Lu Shangzai remained unaware of the phone, he was safe. But a chilling realization soon dawned on Huang Chaomin: if the alliance targeted him, the Emperor Gang would be left without a leader. The higher-ups would undoubtedly sense something amiss. He feared becoming expendable, discarded once his utility vanished. The witch's abandonment would be swift and merciless. Survival became paramount. Wang Chaomin felt a perverse sense of relief. Lu Shangxi's clandestine schemes offered a twisted opportunity. Eliminating that suspicious glint in Lu's eyes was key. Safety hinged on it. But Lu Shangxi departed abruptly. A parting request for contact information hinted at future discord. He wanted to talk more later. Lu's departure triggered a wave of introspection for Wang Chaomin. Doubt gnawed at him. Had revealing himself to the strategist been a grave mistake? The risk of exposure loomed large. He could become a standout, a target amongst Dragon Day's students. Yet, the encounter illuminated the strategist's true nature. His next move demanded careful consideration. Elsewhere, Lu Shangxi replayed the day's events in his mind. Could Huang Chaomin truly be the impersonator? Confessing his connection to Huang Wudi was unnecessary. His words held a hidden meaning. Reckless action would prove his own ignorance. He'd be the fool, not Oscar. Amusement overtook Lu Shangzai. He burst out laughing. The driver jumped, startled. Lu Shangzai's smile was unsettling. Intriguing. Just a student, he mused. Very well, let's play a few rounds. The woman wielded her charm as a weapon. She aimed to divide the man from his ally. Oblivious, he even summoned reinforcement. He was unaware of Huang Chaomin's complicity. Huang Chaomin faced a dilemma. The strategist proved a formidable opponent. Employing the Emperor Gang was too risky. Could Jin Luchen be the solution? He weighed his options. Mahi Li's call interrupted his thoughts. She'd secured a meeting with Jin Luchen. A chance encounter had led to opportunity. She smoothly added him, setting up a future meeting. Her motive? Huang Chaomin had planted the seed. Jin Luchen. Even if Jin Luchen refused the hit, he'd be a valuable source. But Jin Luchen was flustered. Understandably. A girl had never approached him first. Was this a trap? His fingers clicked her profile picture involuntarily. Seeing her selfie, doubt gnawed at him. Was he unexpectedly attractive in Big Phil? But his brother's hospitalized face flashed in his mind. He tossed the phone aside. Revenge was his purpose in Big Phil. Now, infatuated? Pathetic. The thought vanished instantly. He rationalized it. This was a test of his resolve. He would not falter. This brings us back to the opening scene. Jane Luchun dragged Huang Chaomin to the date. Huang Chaomin was baffled. Who brings a friend to a date, he wondered. Clearly, Jane Luchun, a fighting expert, was clueless about romance. Still, he complimented her. A girl asking for your number? Impressive. I wouldn't even dream of it, he admitted. Jane Luchun leaned in, whispering, I think it's fishy. A sudden date request? Contact info? Is this some kind of scam? Help me figure out if she's genuine. Huang Chaomin gulped, surprised. He hadn't expected such emotional intelligence. Mid-conversation, Mahi Li arrived. Huang Chaomin was stunned. Was this the real Mahi Li? Overwhelmed with excitement, Jin Luchun landed squarely on the ground. Mahi Li inquired about Jin Luchun's friend, asking who he was. But covertly, she questioned Huang Chaomin, demanding to know his intentions and why he was interfering. Huang Chaomin, caught off guard, assured her he'd find a way to slip away. Meanwhile, the oblivious Jin Luchen continued his introduction. Once the introductions concluded, the date commenced. From the shadows, Huang Chaomin observed. He noticed Jin Luchen's genuine affection for Mahi, yet a sense of reservation remained. In essence, his mission, uncover proof of Mahi Li's reciprocal feeling. His objective, highlight Jin Luchen's strength. Their destination, the cinema. After all, showcasing masculine appeal required a strategic setting. The horror film? Mahi Li found it utterly yawn-inducing. Bored, not terrified. Yet, she feigned fright, hoping for Jean Luchun's protection. The result? He fainted dead away. Huang Chaomin's calls were useless. Jean Luchun remained unconscious. Next up, headshots at a photo studio. But Jean Luchun? He had a crippling fear of cameras. Cold sweat drenched him. Even eating was a challenge. One speck of spice meant instant unconsciousness. Karaoke became their last resort. But Jean Luchun suddenly fell ill, retreating to the bathroom to vomit. Mahili's behavior aroused his suspicion. He'd done nothing to earn her affection, had he? Instead of leaving, she smiled enigmatically. She definitely had an ulterior motive. Huang Chaomin couldn't help but voice his frustration. Useless in every way except fighting, he muttered. If this goes on, he'll not only blow his chance with Mahili, but he'll raise even more suspicion. Then, Huang Chaomin recalled Jean Luchun's one redeeming quality, his fighting prowess. His fighting was his only strength. He went next door, deliberately antagonizing the thug. Got a problem? Come to room 6, he challenged before leaving. He walked out, leaving the threat hanging in the air. Meanwhile, a stomachache had Jean Luchun longing for home. Suddenly, the door burst open. Which punk dared come here and provoke us? Huang Chaomin thought triumphantly. Finally, Jean Luchun gets to shine. His smile vanished instantly. The newcomer was Guai Jiang himself, the Emperor Gang's second squad captain. He glared menacingly at Mahili. Why are you here with these two men? He demanded. A chill ran down their spines. Were they being played? Guai Jiang's presence was completely unexpected. They were in serious trouble now. Jean Luchun's Big Phil debut was about to begin, and his opponent? None other than Guai Jiang, the Emperor Gang's formidable second-in-command. To showcase Jean Luchun's prowess, Huang Chaomin had orchestrated a confrontation. He'd riled up the neighboring room, daring them to bring the fight to room 6. The enraged thugs were ready to rumble, but their path crossed with Guai Jiang. He'd just finished a bathroom break. Guai Jiang quickly learned of the intrusion. Someone had dared to disrespect his men in his absence, while he was gone. Furious, Guai Jiang stormed room 6 alone. The Emperor Gang had a strict dress code for combat. No jacket, no fight. There, he unexpectedly encountered the boss's girlfriend. Mahili was seated with two men. Guai Jiang confronted her. Are you betraying us? Jean Luchun, spotting the other man's Emperor Gang jacket, immediately stepped forward. He believed Mahili couldn't possibly be involved with the Emperor Gang. The man before him was clearly delusional. Guai Jiang found this amusing. But, for reasons he couldn't divulge, he simply questioned Mahili. Suddenly, Jean Luchun lashed out. Don't you dare raise your voice at her. Huang Chaomin was stunned. Guai Jiang, reeling from the punch, was momentarily frozen. Initially, he hadn't intended to retaliate, still confused by the situation. But then Jean Luchun added insult to injury. He wasn't just trash. His boss was trash too. Guai Jiang snapped. You're dead. He lunged at Jean Luchun. Jean Luchun effortlessly blocked the punch. Huang Chaomin urged Mahili to escape, but she saw an opportunity to gauge Jean Luchun's strength. How long could he withstand Guai Jiang? Within 3 rounds, Jean Luchun faltered. Guai Jiang landed a kick, anticipating the next attack. Jean Luchun resorted to a trick. He flung his jacket, creating a distraction. Then, he seized the moment to strike. He landed a blow and taunted. Guai Jiang was unfazed. He even complimented Jean Luchun's effort. They traded blows for several rounds. Only 2 sneak attacks connected. Jean Luchun couldn't land another hit. He was relentlessly pressured. Doubt crept into his mind. He's a wolf in sheep's clothing. His attacks are brutal. He's leagues beyond those Dragon Day punk. He must be Emperor Gang. Jean Luchun was on the defensive. Forced into a desperate 2-handed block, no opening for a counterattack. Mahili grumbled in disappointment. Did I overestimate him? Why is he performing so poorly? Well, facing a captain-level opponent is a tall order. Huang Xiaomin's spirit remained undimmed. He silently rooted for Jean Luchun. Despite using the Emperor Gang, I'm on your side. Don't lose to Huang Wudi's lackey. Jean Luchun refused to yield. His inner voice roared with defiance. Not a moment more will be wasted. Guai Jiang's fist connected squarely with Jean Luchun's face, but Jean Luchun remained conscious. Instead, he seized a table and launched it at his opponent. The tide turned instantly. Huang Chaomin was ecstatic. He hadn't believed Guaji Jiang could be defeated. He rushed forward to congratulate Jin, but Jin Lucan sheepishly scratched his head. His victory had come from using a weapon, not skill. Mahili's expression remained impassive. He'd achieved the rank of captain early on. Within the Emperor Gang, Guaji Jiang was known as the fighting demon. How could Jin Lucan possibly have bested him? Suddenly, Wasaji Yang rose to his feet. "You sneaky little. You let me hit you on purpose, didn't you? So you could throw that table. Tricks like that won't work on me. Don't even dream of it. Come on, onward. Get ready for some serious fun. Today's the day." Jin Lucan felt the palpable intensity radiating from it. Guaji Jiang was undeniably, certifiably insane. Victory against him felt impossible. He arrived in this unfamiliar city seeking vengeance. Yet, he couldn't even overcome a single underling. Despite resorting to dirty tactic, he remained unable to best Guaji Jiang, the Emperor Gang's second squad captain. Even that formidable aura was intimidating. If Huang Chomin hadn't intervened, impersonating the boss to summon Guaji Jiang, calling him away, Jin Lucan's defeat would have been certain. Parting, Wei Ji Young fixed Mahili with a stare. She was to explain her association with the enemy to the boss. He turned to leave, but Jin Lucan stopped him. He demanded a name. The request angered the two subordinates. Wei Shijiang obliged, revealing his identity. "But aside from this chance encounter, someone like you won't cross paths with me again. Forget my name." Jin Lucan remained rattled long after they left. Mahili, unfazed, asked where he wanted to go next. The question caught Jin Lucan off guard. Huang Chaomin was equally perplexed. The two exchanged confused whispers. Most people would be heading straight home. Seeing Jin Lucan's hesitation, Mahili didn't press him. She offered him some ointment. "At least take this," she insisted. Jin Lucan awkwardly scratched his head, speechless. "No thanks needed," Mahili said. "Don't mention it. I owe you my thanks. You were protecting me back there, weren't you?" Suddenly, it clicked for Huang Chaomin. So, Jin Lucan was fighting Guaji Jiang at a disadvantage. Mahili seized this opportunity. Jin Lichuan flushed, taken aback. He hadn't expected her observation. Mahili's every move was a calculated seduction aimed at Jin Lichuan. She was determined to keep him engaged, even for a little while longer. Huang Chaomin couldn't help but admire Mahili's skill. She was a true master of allure. He'd assumed Jin Lucan would be completely ensnared, but, shockingly, Jin Lucan flatly refused. With a curt apology, he left without a backward glance. Yet, his hands trembled. The longing to stay lingered. He knew he couldn't afford to relax. Despite the unfavorable circumstances he'd just faced, Jin Lucan refused to be defeated. He wouldn't be a helpless victim. His eyes hardened with resolve, devoid of regret. Recognizing his limitations, he vowed to strive for improvement and adapt. Huang Chaomin remained incredulous at Jan's action. Lucan walked away from a potential relationship. Mahili scoffed. "See, hotheads get you nowhere." Huang Chaomin couldn't resist teasing her, but Mahili was defiant. "I never expected a quick win." Still, Huang Chaomin pressed. "I tried," Mahili retorted. "It's fine, I haven't felt this alive in ages. If that's all, I'm going." Her words caught Huang Chaomin off guard. Had he ever truly known Mahili? Lost in thought, his phone buzzed. A text from the strategist. "Got time to talk? A private meeting?" Huang Chaomin was suspicious. What was the strategist planning? Not when, but if. A demand, not a request. How arrogant. He debated, refused the meeting, avoid the conflict, but greater risk meant a greater chance to expose his vulnerability. Huang Chaomin strategized when a slap echoed from the nearby street. Curiosity piqued. He investigated the commotion. The victim? Mahili, whom he'd just encountered. Moments ago, they parted ways. Now this? The usually untouchable. Which brought low. Huang Chaomin was stunned. Eavesdropping revealed the truth. They assaulted her because of her brother, who was now incapacitated. Parting words, dress less provocatively next time. A warning delivered with a threat. Huang Chaomin watched them retreat, yearning for retribution. But Mahili stopped him. She materialized, pleading for a ride home. Huang Chaomin was bewildered. But he agreed. Mahili's circumstances shocked him. He'd assumed she was wealthy. Instead, her situation mirrored his own, perhaps even worse. Mahili seemed to read his mind. She explained her brother's medical bills forced her relocation. Guilt washed over Huang Chaomin. His brother had caused this. Who were those bullies, he asked. Mahili recounted the story dispassionately. It began when Hongbo Mei and her friends had a crush. The boy they liked, however, approached Mahili, not to confess, but to demand her contact information, fueled by jealousy. Hongbo Mei denied any connection to Mahili. Defeated, the boy left, and Mahili became their target. Their hatred and relentless pranks followed. Initially, Mahili ignored it, but the situation escalated beyond her endurance. Rumors spread like wildfire, fueled by malicious messages. Discovering the truth, Mahili retaliated with a resounding slap. Silence descended upon the classroom. All eyes were on them. Tears welled in Mahili's eyes as she demanded answers. "You're the one spreading lies about me, aren't you?" Hongbo Mei didn't deny it. "What's wrong?" she retorted. "Don't you enjoy seducing people? Consider it free advertising," she sneered. "Helping you snag a rich guy fast." Hongbo Mei's cruel words shattered Mahili. She crumbled under the weight of the accusation. She raised her hand to strike again, but Hongbo Mei's boyfriend intervened, seizing her wrist. He dragged Mahili away, intending to retaliate. At the classroom door, he was sent flying by a powerful kick. Mahili's brother had arrived. His presence commanded the room as he unleashed his fury on Hongbo Mei. "She never crossed me again after that. Until news of my brother's condition reached her, she reverted to her cruel ways." Huang Chaomin's blood boiled upon hearing this. He instantly reached for his phone. Mahili stopped him. "Even if I'm being bullied, I won't ask my brother for help, much less involve the Emperor Gang. Forget what you saw, please. This is my fight. Focus on catching the strategist." Huang Chaomin remained undeterred. He'd show Hongbo Mei what true bullying looked like. At dawn the next day, Guaji Jiang arrived at the school gate. He was searching for Hongbo Mei. He planned to use others to exact his revenge. Huang Chaomin questioned Mahili. He demanded every detail about Guaji Jiang, even his preferences. Hongbo Mei was precisely Huang Chaomin's type. Huang Chaomin used Jin Xian to deliver a fabricated message. The message: the girl in the picture had a crush on Weiji Jiang. Intrigued, Weiji Jiang rushed to Beijing Girls' High School. He needed a student to relay a message to Hongbo Mei. Someone was waiting at the gate for her. At the same time, Hongbo Mei was tormenting a girl for not buying coffee. She doused the girl with an entire bottle of milk. She even used a mop to wash the girl's face. Hongbo Mei only left the bathroom once her cruel amusement was satisfied. Heading back to class, Li Xiaowu inquired about Hongbo Mei's progress with Zhong. Had she won him over yet? Hongbo Mei confessed. If he wasn't somewhat attractive, she wouldn't bother. Seducing him was becoming tiresome. The charade of being a lady was wearing thin. Results should be coming in soon. Amidst their excited chatter, a girl informed Hongbo Mei she had a visitor waiting at the school gate. Hongbo Mei proudly shared her good news, but at the gate, she froze. It wasn't her brother, Yuan Zhong. A menacing man stood before her. She instinctively recoiled. Summoning her courage, she demanded his name. Guaji Zhang's blunt question stunned her. "Don't you like me?" Hongbo Mei panicked. There's been a misunderstanding. Her friends, watching from afar, were equally terrified. They never imagined she knew someone like him. Realizing their mistake, Hongbo Mei acted quickly. She silenced Gu Shijiang. "Stop your delusional nonsense," she yelled. "I'd never like a thug like you. Get lost." With that, she walked away, unaware her nightmare was just beginning. Huang Chaomin had assigned her the Sundara persona. Even with genuine affection, she'd express only hatred. And Guaji Jiang was the relentless type. He'd pursue relentlessly. Fueled by her rejection, the more she hated, the more determined Guaji Jiang became. The next morning, Hongbo Mei was already the topic of conversation. Her friend urged her to the school store. It was already overflowing with curious onlookers. Hongbo Mei pushed through the crowd and took in the scene. Her eyes narrowed. It was Guaji Jian, attempting to buy all the coffee, but the shopkeeper refused to sell to outsiders. Spotting Hongbo Mei, Guaji Jian had a plan. She could buy it, he'd pay. She refused to sell, and I'm not a thief. Hongbo Mei was utterly bewildered. Who are you? What's the meaning of this? Guaji Jiang couldn't help but scoff. You're laying it on a bit thick, aren't you? You don't even know the difference between Guaji Jiang and the Emperor Gang. Of course I want your contact information. I find your arrogance intriguing. His unsettling demeanor sent shivers down Hongbo Mei's spine. She panicked, thinking, if even a whisper of a connection to him got out, things with brother Yuan Zhong would be ruined. Desperate, she played along, giving Gui Sijong her information. Just don't come to the school anymore, she pleaded, and stay away from me. She remained baffled. How did she end up in this mess? Wei Shizhong's infatuation was alarming. He'd actually tracked down Hong Bomei's love interest. They stole his phone after the beating. Hong Bomei's blood ran cold at the news. Her face paled instantly. She just bragged about winning Yuan Zhong over. Now, he was brutally attacked. Guaji Jiang had even guaranteed Yuan Zhong's permanent disappearance. But the true horror was Guaji Jiang at her doorstep. Enraged, Hong Bomei shattered her phone. Her newfound romance destroyed. I'll make you suffer like me, she vowed. She called her ex. He was to eliminate Guo Shijian. Anything, she promised. Just do it. Pei Yuanqi's smile was sinister. You said it, he purred. The line went dead. Hong Bomei descended the stairs, seeking out Guaji Jian. She needed him to accompany her to a substitute location for emotion later. Upon arrival, Hong Bomei finally voiced her burning question. Where exactly did you see me? Guaji Jiang appeared bewildered. Shouldn't I be asking you that? I heard you were the one smitten at first sight. Hong Bomei's jaw hit the floor. Which lying scoundrel started that rumor? Wei Shijiang mistook Hong Bomei's outrage for shyness. He assumed her outburst was coy flirting. Unknowing, he was already marked for death. She just awaited her ex-boyfriend's arrival, changing the subject abruptly. She inquired about Wu Jiezhong's attire. Guaji Jiang puffed with pride. This dragon jacket? It's the Emperor Gang's insignia. Pretty impressive, right? He gushed over his boss like a devoted fan. Hong Bomei was left speechless. She was completely lost. All she knew was Guaji Jiang's immense admiration for this man. When Hong Bomei inquired about Guaji Jiang's feelings for the boss, Guaji Jiang responded instantly. Absolutely, he declared. He's the first person I've genuinely wanted to follow. He's the best, and no matter the price, I will make him king. But, do you understand the significance of this jacket? Hong Bomei muttered to herself. The man who beat Masashi, he wore a similar jacket. The wind stole her words from Guaji Jiang's ear. He asked her to repeat, but she dismissed it. Let's eat. Inaction isn't my style. Staying put just isn't me. As Hong Bomei searched for an excuse to linger, her ex arrived with reinforcement. Exiting his car, he sneered. Well, he looks tough. What's your connection to him? 5 men emerged from the van. Their leader brandished a spiked club. Guo Shijiang remained unfazed. He simply asked Hong Bomei, "Do you know this man?" Before she could reply, another voice cut in. "Why do you always attract trouble?" Guo Shijiang realized Hong Bomei was dangerous, yet he was drawn to her. Danger was his element. As Guo Shijiang urged Hong Bomei behind him, she ran straight towards the car. "Do it," she commanded. "Now, kill him, dump him in the lake." Guo Shijiang was exasperated. He couldn't help but scoff. The moment she's in the car, he muttered, "It's kill him, do it now." Pei Yuanqi demanded swift action. He ordered his men to finish him off. In a flash, they were all down. Gui Sijian effortlessly snatched a card. He realized his opponent was a lone shark. Disgust flashed across his face. Picking on small fry was no fun. A first date turned into a nightmare. 5 thugs surrounded him. His date fled, and to add insult to injury, a stranger ridiculed him. The result? His 4 men lasted a mere 2.5 minutes against Guaji Jiang. Still, he remained unimpressed. He assumed his opponent had only fought amateur. He, on the other hand, had seen real war. They weren't even in the same league. Mahi Li's brother had previously knocked out Pei Yuanqi with a single blow. Unwilling to accept defeat, he sought revenge, but instead of help, he was advised to apologize to Ma Xiaoxin. That guy was alliance, remember? Big Phil success means respecting the alliance. Don't cross them if you want to thrive here. I'm joining them soon, anyway. Days later, Hong Bomei dumped Pei Yuanqi. She found him utterly humiliated. 1 hit KO'd? Embarrassing. As she walked away, Pei Yuanqi yanked her hair back. Repeat that, he demanded. Suddenly, a crew rolled up. They warned Pei Yuanqi to release Hong Bomei, or face a 4-on-1 beatdown. Outnumbered, Pei Yuanqi released her and retreated. They flaunted their affection right in his face. He trembled with rage. He ran, he fled Big Phil. He found refuge in Guangzhou, among the thugs. He fought countless battles there. culminating in this moment of triumph. You pathetic gamers can only dream of defeating me. Let's see how many of my attacks you can actually evade. Prepare yourselves for what's coming. Pei Yuanqi expertly anticipated their recovery attempt. He unleashed a brutal swing, aiming for their shoulders. Guo Zhijiang reacted swiftly, using his head to deflect the blow. The impact sent him flying, but he ignored the pain, immediately inspecting his clothing. To his dismay, he found a tear. Pei Yuanqi, witnessing this, was taken aback. Did this guy just block with his head to protect his clothes, just to save his outfit from damage? The thought infuriated Pei Yuanqi. He felt utterly disrespected. He charged, spiked club raised high, but Guo Zhijiang was consumed by rage. He sidestepped the attack and launched a furious counteroffensive, a direct kick to the chin. That simple blow left Pei Yuanqi reeling in disbelief. What power? Is he really just a student? I've never encountered this kind of force from any thug. Guo Zhijiang's assault continued relentlessly. A brutal punch landed squarely on Pei Yuanqi's face. He was sent flying from the land into the lake, but 2 strikes weren't nearly enough. The fighting demon, Guo Zhijiang, was consumed by rage. Hongbo Mei froze, terrified by the unending scream. She recognized the chilling cries of her ex-boyfriend, Pei Yuanqi. Guo Zhijiang only stopped when the lakeside was drenched in blood. Student level? You think Huang Wudi is only capable of this? A girl's prank nearly wiped out H country's largest criminal syndicate. And the first to uncover the truth? The combat expert himself, 2ND squad captain, Wei Jiajiang. Just now, Hongbo Mei. Fear gripped her. She reached for the phone, but Giji Young shattered the glass door, silencing her. Speak and you die, he threatened. Exiting the car, Hongbo Mei instantly dropped to her knees. She pleaded with Giji Young for mercy. Confusion clouded his face. He'd wronged no woman, as far as he knew. Why this charade? Why feign affection, then betray me? He demanded. Tears streamed down Hongbo Mei's face. She had no memory of such accusation. Gu Shizhan's fury intensified. So, he see that Zai Si and bro lied to me? A new thought struck him. He gestured towards the unconscious men. Did they force you? Perhaps I crossed them somehow. It wouldn't be the first time. He mused, I have a knack for making enemies. Keeping track is a challenge. Hongbo Mei struggled to grasp Guo Zijian's word. Spotting an escape route? She cried coercion. A familiar voice cut through the tension. There's that nasty habit of yours again. You begged for help. Yet you disregard the simplest rule. Emperor Gang, I concede your strength, but you're clearly clueless about your boss. This sparked Guo Zhijiang's curiosity. Speak, he commanded, but choose your words wisely. Uselessness is a death sentence. If I'm not mistaken, the voice replied, your boss's past transgressions caused you some grief, didn't they? Wei Jiyang's silence was telling. He dropped the pretense. He spoke of a fight with a Big Phil Alliance child, left a vegetable. Alarm bells rang for Hongbo Mei. She tried to silence Pei Yuanqi, but he pressed on, even analyzing the situation for Guo Zhijiang. Wasn't he unusually furious back then? Doesn't that strike you as odd? Guo Zhijiang paused, caught off guard. The scene replayed in his mind. His pleas fell on deaf ears. The boss was adamant, threatening disownment if disobeyed. He'd be cut off completely. Ultimately, the boss charged the alliance with a handful of men. 30 were gravely wounded, 1 left comatose. The damage was irreparable. With 1 life hanging in the balance, desperate measures were necessary. A scapegoat was chosen to shield the boss. The Emperor Gang's very existence was at stake. The incident was buried. Silence prevailed. The full truth remained hidden. Yet, this man seemed to know it all. He even insinuated the kneeling woman possessed deeper knowledge. Hua Jijian was initially incredulous. Hongbo Mei was unaware of the Emperor Gang's existence. Pei Yuanqi shed light on the situation. It turned out Hongbo Mei had hired someone to retaliate against a girl's brother out of spite. This individual then manipulated their boss into targeting Mao Xiaoxing of the Big Phil Alliance. Despite this, Hongbo Mei still insisted Pei Yuanqi fabricated the story. She refused to acknowledge the truth. But Guo Zhijiang remained unperturbed. He only knew suspicion now clouded the air. He had to expose the truth. Even if it led him to the depths of hell, he vowed to pursue any discovered lies relentlessly. The consequences would be far more severe. Confession became the only viable option. Upon hearing this, a terrified Hongbo Mei confessed everything. Guo Zijing was taken aback upon learning it involved Mahili's brother. He was momentarily stunned. He showed Hongbo Mei a picture, undeniable proof. Confirmation fueled his rage. Suddenly, it all made sense. That KTV encounter with Mahili, his suspicions were justified. The truth was finally revealed. Huaji Jiang now understood everything. Hong Baomei filled in the missing pieces. Mahili was the sister of the comatose man, and the mastermind behind it all was Park Suk-ha, the one who drove the boss to his current state. The Emperor Gang's first squad captain, his baseball bat clattered to the ground. Huaji Jiang, despite his inner turmoil, knew he had to alert the Emperor Gang. He had to leave now. Seeing Pei Yuanqi's distress, Pang Bomai pleaded with Gui Sijiang. "Take her away," she begged. Gui Sijiang refused. He had more pressing matters, but threatened retribution later. A smug grin spread across Pei Yuanqi's face. He hauled Hongbao Mei toward the van by her hair. Huaji Zhang's motorcycle roared to life, hitting 200 kilometers per hour. He was desperate to get back to the Emperor Gang. Frantically, he tried calling his crew, but his calls went unanswered, his attention glued to the phone. Danger crept up unnoticed. The Alliance had him. Huaji Zhang awoke in a warehouse. Min Du-sang stood before him. The Big Phil Alliance's 9th squad captain. Min Du-sang couldn't resist taunting Huaji Jiang. "Abandoned and lost, were you?" he sneered. Huaji Jiang remained silent. "I shouldn't even be here," he grumbled. Min Du-sang's eyes narrowed. He leaned closer, a spark of anger in his eye. Giji Zhang retaliated with a swift bite to the nose. Min Du-sang's scream pierced the air. Underlings rushed to intervene. Giji Zhang was finally pulled away. Blood flowed freely from Min Du-sang's nose. Rage consumed Min Du-sang. He lunged for Giji Zhang. Two underlings narrowly averted bloodshed. The strategist's orders, Giji Zhang must live. Huajijiang taunted Min Du-sang. "Hesitate now, and you'll pay the price later." Min Du-sang remained silent. A smirk played on his lips. Huajijiang was a fool. Min Du-sang believed Giji Zhang was oblivious to the truth. He laid it bare for Giji Zhang. "You're a pawn in the strategist's game. Your life is temporarily spared. A far more sinister fate awaits you elsewhere." Huang Chomin arrived at Lu Shankai's residence. He found himself before a sprawling mansion. No time for awe. He had to be razor sharp. One slip up, game over. Finally, Huang Chomin rang the bell. Lu Shangsai escorted him to the study. A relaxed chat over tea commenced. Outwardly, harmony reigned. But beneath the surface, each probed for weakness. To Huang Chomin, Lu Shankai was pure privilege, a silver spoon heir, worlds away from the grime and violence. Yet, he was the Big Phil Alliance's mastermind. It defied logic. Huang Chomin was baffled. Lu Shangsai's title seemed a cruel joke. What purpose did it serve? Born into luxury. Secretly a gang strategist. And now, hosting a suspect. To expose the enemy's puppet leader. He intended to leverage the recently captured Guaji Zhong. His motive, to gauge their reaction. But Lu Shangsai took an indirect approach. He first posed a question to Huang Chomin. "How do you think the imposter controls Emperor Gang?" Huang Chomin was taken aback. This wasn't the reason he expected to be summoned. He offered what he believed to be the obvious answer, likely through text messages or something similar. After all, in this situation, feigning ignorance would only raise suspicion. Lu Shangsai's follow-up question was unexpected. "Did your brother have a phone? Or any similar device among his possessions?" This time, Huang Chomin chose to conceal the truth. Lu Shangsai couldn't verify his answer anyway. "No phone," he claimed. Lu Shangsai's expression darkened. "Are you certain?" he pressed. "Are you lying to me?" Huang Chomin felt a bead of sweat trickle down his temple. He stood his ground. There was nothing unusual. "My guess is, some lucky soul stumbled upon a phone, and used it without a second thought. But that person has to be in Dragon Day, there's no question about it." Huang Chomin then questioned Lu Shangsai. "Why are you so fixated on defeating Emperor Gang? Is it worth risking your life? Is there some deep-seated resentment?" Lu Shangsai nonchalantly replied, "It's just a hobby, like helping stressed-out students. The United Students will assist in dethroning the king. I figured you'd understand. Those at the bottom are meant to be used this way." With that, Lu Shangsai turned to leave. But Huang Chomin was clueless about this dethroning. However, one look at Lu Shangsai's face, and Huang Chomin knew this was bad news. He had to stop Lu Shangsai's plan. Just then, Lu Shangsai turned, posing a final question to Huang Chomin. "We've apprehended Guaji Jiang. The Emperor Gang's second-in-command. If you were in my shoes, how would you leverage this? Feigning confusion, Huang Chaomin replied, "Isn't capturing a high-ranking member a positive development?" "Precisely," Lu Shansai affirmed. "He's a key player in the Emperor Gang's operation. Perhaps finding the imposter leader is unnecessary. This could be our chance to cripple the Emperor Gang. I intend to exploit this to our advantage. Can you offer any suggestions?" Huang Chaomin responded cautiously. "Congratulations are in order then. While I'm unsure I can offer brilliant strategy, I'll certainly assist you." But as soon as Lu Shansai departed, panic seized Huang Chaomin. What utter nonsense! Guo Jijiang captured? Impossible. Shouldn't he be confronting Hong Bowman? A lie to test my reaction? What just happened? But what if he's telling the truth? Losing Wajijian would be devastating. He's not just powerful. He's fiercely loyal to the boss. I need to grasp the reality of the situation. I have to confirm the truth. But leaving now would raise suspicion. That defeats the entire purpose of this visit. It would jeopardize my mission. Huang Chaomin asks for the bathroom, feigning composure. He maintains a calm facade. If the strategist is truthful, Diji Jiang must be rescued. Lu Shangkai observes from the surveillance room. Will Huang Chaomin use his phone? Will he risk alleviating suspicion? Huang Chaomin ventures into the lion's den, but caution prevails. Jin Zhejian waits at the door. Jin Zhejian was consumed with worry over Huang Chaomin's safe return. He knew Huang's situation was precarious. One phone call from Huang Chaomin, and the strategist monitoring him would have confirmation. The news of Guo Jijiang's capture was a calculated lead. If Huang Chaomin was an impostor, he'd undoubtedly try to verify it. His only recourse, contacting the Emperor Gang. Lu Shangsai was certain of this. "Come on, pull out the phone," he urged silently. But Huang Chaomin remained motionless. He was mesmerized by the bathroom's size, bigger than his own room. This stunned Lu Shangsai. He hadn't anticipated inaction. Had he really just come to use the bathroom? In truth, Huang Chaomin was drenched in a cold sweat of fear. He'd almost reached for his phone. That would have been disastrous. The strategist's suspicions were already aroused, assessing the situation. If he wanted my immediate reaction, he would have asked then and there. But he waited until he was leaving. This tells me he's keenly interested in my private response. Therefore, there must be a way for him to observe me. He wouldn't have left so abruptly otherwise. He didn't even wait to see my initial reaction. This was his way of giving me time to think, but something feels off. He'd have anticipated a bathroom break. This room is likely under surveillance. Hidden cameras, pre-existing or new, it doesn't matter. Two facts emerge. First, he wants leverage over the Emperor Gang, meaning he wants Huang Wudi's phone. Second, before confirming its existence, he's trying to conceal his suspicions about me. He needs me to keep the phone, it's my lifeline in his eye. But Mahi Li forces my hand with the Emperor Gang. I have no choice. The strategist can't possibly grasp this. Why didn't he search me when I arrived? He's likely worried I left Huang Wudi's phone behind. That would make me suspicious. He'll only make his move when he's sure. He needs confirmation that I have the phone. Ultimately, he only acts when certainty is absolute. There he was, the butler lurking in the shadow, awaiting the young master's command. However, Huang Chaomin's intentions remain a mystery. Why so cautious? If meticulousness is his game, Guo Jijiang is off the table. I'll have to abandon that plan. Inside the monitoring room, Lu Shangsai was lost in contemplation. Huang Chaomin returned from the bathroom and just sat there, motionless. Could the secret be out? I explicitly ordered Wu Yunzi to ensure Min Du-sang kept Gu Shijiang's capture under wrap, to verify his suspicion. He contacted Min Du-sang, inquiring about any leak. Min Du-sang claimed only Wu Yunzi knew, and that he'd informed him just moments before. Wu Yunzi immediately called him back, stating the strategist forbade him from sharing with the alliance. After that, I told no one, he insisted. Wei Ji-young's been locked up tight. Were there any witnesses during the capture? Unlikely. We took him straight to a deserted factory. If I don't call back in 10 minutes, eliminate him. But after the call ended, Min Du-sang fumed over the lack of praise. If not for the chairman's orders, I'd force Wu Yunzi to reveal himself. Then, I'd teach him a lesson. This whole thing infuriates me. I'll take all the credit. 10 minutes is all I need to teach him a brutal lesson. Both are top fighters, leading their respective gang, but their power levels are vastly different. Lu Jianxiu's punches were like soft whispers against his opponent. He won, however, delivered a single, devastating knockout blow. This disparity in strength stems from the fundamental differences in their organization's structure. The Emperor Gang's aces are hand-picked by the four captains. The Alliance, on the other hand, uses a ranked hierarchy for its left and right hand. It seems Chomin had been secretly communicating with Jin Zhejiang. He overheard the strategist's every word, ensuring his own safety. He messaged Guo Shizhong seeking confirmation, but received no response, despite usually getting one within a minute. Chomin remains silent. This implies he's incapacitated, unable to command. But Jin Zhejiang understood perfectly that Guo Jijiang was crucial to the Emperor Gang's power. His safety was paramount. Jin Zhejiang was stumped. Then, a tapping sound over the phone. 3 rhythmic taps, like fingers on a screen. Understanding dawned. Chomin was sending a message. Morse code? Jin Zhejiang initially thought, but that didn't seem right. He knew nothing of Morse. Chomin wouldn't use such a cryptic method. He considered a simpler meaning. Was it the number 3? But what did 3 signify? It couldn't be Guo Jijiang's location. The third squad? Jin Zhejiang remembered asking Chomin about the third squad's captain. He was the fourth, after all. Even Chomin hadn't known. He'd only recently discovered the third squad's existence. I investigated the Emperor Gang's finances, but they're surprisingly inactive. They operate independently, it seems. I do have their captain's number, though. I'm hesitant to use it, unsure of his connection to Huang Wudi. I haven't reached out, just in case. Here's the number anyway. Could Chomin be the key to Guo Jijiang's whereabouts? We're in a desperate situation. Jin Zhejiang made a risky call. The response was a single cryptic sentence. 38, Yanshu Road, abandoned factory. Then, silence. Jin Zhejiang was stunned. He trusted the information, regardless. He related to the Emperor Gang. And that brings us to the opening scene. A clash of titans. A completely one-sided battle. Meanwhile, Lu Shangzai assumed Chomin was phoneless, or had abandoned Guo Jijiang. The odds were even. Either way, Guo Jijiang was lost. A devastating blow to the Emperor Gang. Suddenly, a call. Lu Shangzai answered, surprised. The news stunned him. Min Du Sang was equally bewildered. Why this sudden, massive Emperor Gang intrusion? Lu Shankai was preoccupied, issuing rapid orders. He hung up. How had this happened? Only 4 knew of Guo Jijiang's capture. Only Chomin could order a rescue, but he did nothing. Was he truly not the imposter? Confusion consumed Lu Shankai, unaware he was ensnared in Huang Xiaoman's trap. Rescuing Guo Zijiang and clearing his name? 2 birds, 1 stone. He could now accomplish both. The fake boss suspicion? Gone. A single move, double the impact. Just how formidable is this enigmatic third squad? They located Guo Zijiang and exonerated Huang Xiaoman. The strategist was baffled. Completely. Left with no choice, he confided in Huang Xiaoman. He desperately needed his perspective. Huang Xiaoman shared his analysis. He suggested someone might have witnessed Guo Jijiang's capture. A large group inevitably attracts attention. Such a large operation couldn't go unnoticed. Visibility was unavoidable. The strategist feigned agreement. Is that so? But inwardly, he questioned. Could he simply be a devoted follower? Mission accomplished, Huang Xiaoman excused himself. Time to go home. He feigned fatigue and wanted to leave. The strategist insisted he stay, just a little longer. He mentioned someone he wanted him to meet. The strategist, however, wanted further observation of Huang Xiaoman. Regarding Guo Jijiang, the strategist believed a swift resolution was possible. After all, he'd already informed the chairman about capturing Guo Jijiang. Meanwhile, the Big Phil Alliance's reinforcements arrived on scene. Li Rongxiu spearheaded the arriving forces. 8th-ranked Min Du Sang seethed with rage from his hiding spot in the warehouse. He'd envisioned solo glory. But Li Rongxiu arrived to steal the spotlight. Wei Shijiang offered a sarcastic congratulation. Look who it is, your friend has arrived. Min Du Sang burned with a murderous rage towards Guo Jijiang. The reinforcements signaled the chairman's intent to deliver a harsh lesson. Yet, Giji Yang remained defiant. His mockery continued unabated. Min Du Sang snapped. Consumed by fury, he targeted the second squad captain. He craved the victory. His raised hammer froze mid-swing. Jin Zizhen held it fast. A grip on his shoulder, a sudden throw. Min Du Sang went flying. The force shattered the hammer. Min Du Sang rose slowly, a sneer on his face. Xingbi's Jin Zizhen, here? With the Emperor Gang? Jin Zizhen ignored the taunt and condemned Min Du Sang's action. Attacking the enemy is one thing, but you've crossed a line. Suddenly, Min Du Sang saw the open side door, Jin Zizhen's entry point. He turned, mockery twisting his features again. Your look doesn't suit your build. He silently cursed his past leniency towards Wei Jian. Meanwhile, after a quick word with Jin Zishan, Wei Jian turned to Min Do Shang. Pride comes before a fall, he warned. Now you can't even handle a freebie. That was the last straw for Min Do Shang. Rage consumed him. He lunged at them, screaming obscenity. Bastards, he roared, throwing a punch. Jin Zishan effortlessly blocked the blow, but to everyone's surprise, Min Do Shang evaded Jin Zishan's counterattack. He swung again. Blocked again. After a brief exchange, a hint of respect flickered in Jin Zishan's eyes. Surprisingly nimble, he admitted, for a man who looks so slow. Min Do Shang bristled at the compliment. He scoffed, dismissing it as empty flattery. My ranking speaks for itself, I'm clearly skilled. But their fists connected, and everything changed. Instant regret washed over Min Do Shang. He was met with unexpected, overwhelming force. Numbness consumed him, then searing pain. Agony slowly invaded his right hand. His hand trembled uncontrollably. Confusion clouded Min Do Shang's mind. One thing was clear, Jin Zhuxian was a force of nature. Nearby, Hua Jijiang observed. Facing him one-on-one, he explained, requires near boss-level strength. The fight's outcome was predictable. Jin Siqian dominated completely. He freed Hua Jijiang, who was itching for a sparring match. Emperor Huang's power rests on a secret, the enigmatic third squad. They're the eyes and ears everywhere. Knowing the Emperor, trust is a rare commodity for him. He's deeply suspicious of any male rivalry. Thus, the third squad was born. Their official duty, intelligence gathering. Their true purpose, surveillance of the Emperor's inner circle. They root out any disloyalty to Emperor Huang, but they made a critical error. They underestimated Mahali. She was a woman. This oversight led to the current crisis. Huang Chaomin remained inactive. Yet, Gu Shijiang was rescued. Even the strategist was baffled. He maintained a facade of indifference. Internally, he searched for the flaw in his plan. Min Du Shang held the 9th rank in the Union. Complacency was not an option. Suspicion fell upon a potential spy within the Union. A nagging feeling, was this all orchestrated by Huang Zhaomin? His expression terrified Huang Zhaomin. Panicked, she apologized, fearing a misspoken word. The strategist recognized his own confirmation bias. He was clinging to beliefs, ignoring contradictory evidence. Despite mounting proof to the contrary, Huang Zhaomin's legitimacy was undeniable. He felt a nagging unease, but more perplexing was his own desire for Huang Zhaomin to be a fraud. Did he crave a confrontation? Unknowingly, he was nearing the truth. From the outset, Huang Chaomin understood. He knew the strategist's meticulous control. The strategist had manipulated every variable. This transcended mere luck. However, this inadvertently cleared him of suspicion. It preserved the Emperor's forces and redirected the strategist's focus inward. It sowed discord within the Union. Meanwhile, Jin Sashin had successfully swayed Giji Zhong, challenged him to a fight. Giji Zhong's mind raced when he learned it was the third squad captain who had leaked Jin Sashin's location. He plunged into deep thought. Were they being watched? Satellite surveillance? How else could they navigate the city so effortlessly? Years in the Emperor's gang. And still they remained a mystery. There was no time for contemplation. The Union's forces demanded immediate attention. Currently, the Emperor's gang was on the losing side. The enemy had arrived in overwhelming numbers. The second squad's ace, He-Wan, was pinned down, unable to reach his captain. A moment of distraction. And a brutal blow to the head. Li Rongshu, 8th in rank, appeared on a motorcycle. A whirlwind of destruction cutting through enemy lines. He was desperate to burst into the warehouse, ready to snatch the glory from his brother, Min Do Shang. But as Li Rongshu neared the entrance, the door swung open unexpectedly. In a flash, Jin Zishan yanked Li Rongshu off his motorcycle. He Zhuan, slowly rising, witnessed the stunning scene. He was just getting to his feet. Behind Jin Jishin stood his captain, a formidable presence. Li Rongxiu lay sprawled on the ground, snoring loudly. Hua Jijiang was there too. Their arrival signaled a shift in the fight's momentum. Despite his wounds, Di Jijiang easily dispatched the remaining opponent. Li Rongxiu awoke to find the battle nearly over. He stared at the scene in bewilderment. He remembered charging towards the warehouse. Then, nothing. How did he fall asleep? A ringing phone jolted him back to reality. But as he answered, a shadowy figure launched a sneak attack. A timely warning from a subordinate saved him. He narrowly evaded the attack. An uppercut sent his opponent sprawling. Only then did he assess the chaos. The battlefield, a losing battle. He couldn't single-handedly win this war. Then, he spotted Guiji Yang amidst the fray. Rescue had arrived. He made for his motorcycle, no hesitation. Jin Xian saw him too late. Escape was imminent. A parting smirk for Jin Xian, then Li Rongxiu was gone. He rode off, not looking back. His men, left to their fate. Unseen, a red-haired figure watched from afar, a silent observer in the shadows. The third squad captain emerged. He confronted Jin Zishian, another captain. His question, why join the Emperor's gang? Jin Zishian, the man who'd just turned the tide. His only slip-up? Letting Li Rongxiu secure 8th place in the Union escape. Li Rongxiu, with a knowing smirk directed at Jin Zishian, sped off on his motorcycle, a picture of cool indifference. His subordinate's predicament? Completely forgotten. Jin Zishian, momentarily perplexed, quickly dismissed the incident. He turned his attention to Hizwan's report. Hizwan, the second squad's top operative, confirmed Captain Gua Hejion's successful extraction. The Union forces, mostly neutralized. Only a few stragglers remained. The question, should they be eliminated? Jin Sushin turned, intrigued. The opponent's animosity was palpable. A constant stream of vitriol, yet they were complete strangers. From where did this hatred spring? Surely, it couldn't simply be a matter of organizational loyalty. He pondered the situation. Jin Zishin decided to end the conflict. He released his opponent. Suddenly, a foot stomped on the released man's head. Everyone froze in shock. You insignificant pest, you talk too much, ignoring all pleas. He kicked the man away. What the hell do you think you're doing? Are you deaf? The captain ordered a retreat. The insubordination infuriated the man. He was about to retaliate when He Xuan stepped in. Long time no see. Captain Liang Xuan. The man was stunned. Recognition was unexpected. Jin Jishin realized who stood before him, the third squad's captain. Seeing the respect shown, Lin Jishin dropped a bombshell. Your captain, Guo Zijin. He wore the weight of heartbreak. Why are you here? Xuan demanded. Lin Jishin's gaze shifted to Jin Zishian. He stepped closer, confronting Jin Zishian directly. Qingbi's pride, why, he pressed. You, a lone wolf, joined the Emperor's gang? What's your true motive? Jin Zhuxian remained silent. His stare was unwavering, intent. Nearby, two figures watched, intrigued. The question baffled them. Were there reasons beyond loyalty to the boss? Their captain's words echoed in their mind. Jin Sashian joined because he recognized the boss's power. He was drawn to the boss's undeniable charisma. Who wouldn't follow such a leader? Silence hung heavy for half a minute. Finally, Jin Jishin spoke. Why do you ask? I suspect, Lin Jishin replied. Your presence could ignite the Emperor's gang's downfall. You're quite xenophobic, Jin Jishin countered. Yet you knew Guiji Zhong was in danger, and did nothing. I didn't expect such hypocrisy, he scoffed, but I'm merely fulfilling my obligation. Hua Jizhong's fate was never my concern. That fool was destined for self-destruction. And your accusation is ludicrous. Do you even grasp the meaning of xenophobia? Without another word, he launched a lightning-fast attack. One hand remained casually in his pocket. The onlookers went rigid with fear. They were clearly out of their depth. Now understand? This is xenophobia. A cigarette butt stopped inches from Jin Zishin's face, barely 5 centimeters from his eye. Jin Zishin didn't flinch. He Zhuang finally spoke. Outwardly relieved, inwardly fuming. He seethed, this is unacceptable. Jin Jishin. Qingbai Lian Jishuan flicked his cigarette. The reaction was utterly underwhelming. He placed a hand on Jin Zishian's shoulder. I can read your intentions in your eyes. Yours are filled with hidden agendas. You might fool Sukhan and Guajijong, but you can't fool me. I'm here to set you straight, or else your precious brother won't be so safe. The boy's brother was formidable. Any sign of trouble, and he'd be there, instantly. He'd unleash fury on any bully who dared. But now, Jin Jishin was being threatened. Jin Taiyang's safety was on the line. Rage surged. He seized Lian Jishin's hand. "Choose your words carefully," he warned, "or I'll break this arm." But his opponent struck first. He commended Oscar's intriguing response, just as I'd hoped. Lian Jishin, seeing this, swiftly retaliated. The onlookers watched, a chill running down their spine. They hadn't expected an actual brawl between the captain. Lian Jishin moved with lightning speed. He effortlessly evaded Jin Zhaishan's attacks, countering with his own. In the brief respite between blows, even Jin Zhaishan acknowledged his opponent's superior speed, considerably faster. "But I'm stronger." Lian Zishuan's displeasure was evident. "Just because I'm intelligence. Everyone underestimates me. How frustrating." He lunged at Jin Zishian. Suddenly, Zhuan, throwing caution to the wind, jumped between them, yelling for them to stop. Lian Jishan was furious. "Are you insane?" He backtracked with an apology. Urgent news, he claimed, demanded his immediate attention. Qingbi was under siege by the Union. Elsewhere, Huang Chomin encountered the strategist's chosen contact. It was Lu Shangzhen, the formidable head of the Nine Curves group, and the strategist's own brother. Huang Chomin offered a hasty bow. He was met with silence, a piercing stare. Lu Shangzhen's intense gaze held him captive. A suffocating aura emanated from Lu Shangzhen. Breathing became a struggle. A cryptic farewell hung in the air as he departed. How peculiar. Huang Chomin was perplexed. He turned to Lu Shangzai for answers. What was the meaning of that meeting? Lu Shangzai offered a simple explanation. He wanted to demonstrate that he, too, had family ties he wished to sever. With that, he bid Huang Xiaoming adieu. His exit was a signal. He immediately contacted Wu Yunzi. Orders were given: ambush Qingbi. No survivors. Anyone in a Qingbi uniform was a target. Suspicion ran deep. Union members could be compromised. Moles were a threat. A thorough investigation was essential. Leave no one unchecked. Scrutinize everyone carefully. If nothing is found, Huang Qiaomin's leadership is a sham. Jin Zhaishan's return to Qingbi was fueled by fury. Rage consumed him. The Union's brutality was shocking. They showed no mercy, not a single life spared. Total annihilation. But amidst the carnage, a few survived, bearing witness to the horror. Their attacker, a man with a mohawk. The memory of Li Rongxiu's sinister grin flashed in Jin's mind. The pieces clicked, but a chilling thought emerged. Revenge was one thing. What about his brother, Jin Taeyang? Panic set in. Was Taeyang a victim too? He raced home, finding Taeyang safe with Park Sukho. The first squad's leader was momentarily stunned. The boss's orders: protect Jin Taeyang, he explained. But it's baffling. No one's threatened your brother. Why the bodyguard detail? Apparently, Zhang Taizhong had kept Jin Taiyang's predicament secret. A debt of gratitude was owed. Resenting Jin's success, he reveled in Jin's downfall. Park Sukho turned to go. His time was precious. No time to linger. Has something major occurred? Jin Zhaishan inquired. Major? This is all-out war. This marks the beginning of a full-blown conflict. Granted. The Union and Emperor's Gang had clashed before, but always with restraint. Shatter the balance, and everything changes instantly. Everyone's been tiptoeing around this issue, but the Union just threw gasoline on the fire. The conflicts escalated from Guajijiang straight to Qingbi. The boss had no choice. Retaliation was the only answer. Zhengqiu's Qishan Cave is now under siege. That's Li Rongxiu's turf. The Union's 8th-ranked powerhouse. Curious about the boss's plan? Get ready. All-out war means only one survivor. Only one will remain standing. The titans are clashing. Big Phil's about to explode. Big Phil will have a new ruler. But the Emperor's Gang captains have their own scheme. One suspects betrayal from within. Another points the finger outside. A third, at the boss himself. The last captain dreads what's coming. He's not playing the same game. He wants peace, an end to the bloodshed. Meanwhile, a vengeful ghost is rising. The truth unfolds. By the river, Jin Luchu discovered a dragon emblazoned helmet. He brought it home for examination. The modified helmet felt strangely familiar. He'd seen it before, but where? Jin Luchu couldn't quite place it. The golden dragon sparked a memory. He recalled Emperor Huang's brutal attack, driven by revenge. He'd shadowed the Emperor, seeking information, but Emperor Huang escaped on a motorcycle, gone in a flash. Yet, the Emperor's helmet remained etched in his mind. It was no ordinary helmet. Each stroke of the dragon was painstakingly hand-painted, a one-of-a-kind piece. But how did Emperor Huang's helmet end up beneath Jiachuang Bridge? Was it discarded? Surely, he would have treasured such a masterpiece. Jin Luchu was plunged into deep contemplation. The search for a logical explanation continued. Meanwhile, Li Rongxiu, the Big Phil Union's 8th-ranked fighter, sprinted through a narrow alleyway. Emperor's gang members blocked his every escape route. He attempted a new direction, but Jin Zhishan was already right behind him. As Jin Zhishan signaled his men, Li Rongxiu desperately yelled for him to stop. He admitted his wrongdoing. I shouldn't have attacked your brothers, he pleaded. But it's war, I was just following orders. Jin Zhishan approached him, unimpressed. War? Don't be ridiculous. You were clearly delighted to exploit Qingbi's unguarded state. This isn't a fight for survival. This is about power and domination. You'll face the consequences for your action. There's a price to pay for this. You've already had your fun. Jin Xian wasn't letting him escape. Li Rongxiu struck first, but he was hopelessly outmatched. One punch from Jin Xian put him down. As Li Rongxiu struggled to rise, menacing eyes surrounded him. A brutal beating followed. Huang Chomin orchestrated the attack. Shishan Cave's strategic location was key. Controlling it was the turning point. A text from Park Suka, the boss, arrived. Time to return, it read. A seemingly innocent message raised suspicions about the boss. All-out war had already erupted. The boss's commands suggested he wanted a clear victor. But why only texts, no call? It was out of character. Initiating a full-blown war while away? Unwise. Heartbreak's no excuse for reckless action. This doesn't add up. It makes me wonder if the boss's messages are actually from him. Are those messages truly his words? Lost in thought, Park Suko was interrupted by a subordinate's outburst. What happened? Suko inquired. I was scammed, sir, the man confessed. His girlfriend needed money, she said. Turns out, she was playing him. Her lover was behind the messages. Money sent, they vanished. Along with his bank book, a costly mistake. A simple call could have prevented it all. Suko paused, contemplative. A chilling realization dawned. He'd missed a crucial detail. What if it wasn't the boss sending those messages? Stealing his phone? Improbable. But what if Mahili's scheme worked? The boss's true identity hung in the balance. Doubt crept in, even among the most devout loyalists. The gang's faith in their leader wavered. Earlier, Guo Jijiang confronted Lien Jiushuan, the intelligence captain. He had a pointed question for Jiushuan. Had Jiushuan known all along that Brother Su manipulated the boss into punishing Ma Xiaoshang? But Jiushuan feigned ignorance. Who's Ma Xiaoshang? He asked, feigning amnesia. Refresh my memory. Guo Jijiang pressed. The boss beat a union member into a coma, plunging the emperor's gang into chaos. The details triggered Jiushuan's memory. Recognition flickered in his eyes. The boss wanted that man eliminated, Jiushuan recalled. Are you implying Park Sukhan orchestrated that? Guo Jijiang saw through the charade. Frustration mounting, he exposed Jiushuan's lie. Stop the act. You know everything. But Jiushuan remained impassive. He found Giji Zhong's arrogance unbearable. He decided to deliver a lesson in humility. A reminder that politeness is essential. Calling me brother is unexpected. But such disrespect won't be tolerated. Giji Zhong was taken aback. Was this guy serious? Did formalities truly matter in this situation? And how would you address Jin Xian, then? Brother Xian? The answer enraged Lien Xian. You punk! This is exactly why respect mattered. Lin Jishan lunged at Guo Jizhang once more. He paused only after uttering. Ma Xiaoxing's sister is Yahello. Doesn't that seem strange to you? Would you date someone who harmed your family? There are too many unanswered questions. Why would Brother Suk provoke the boss? Why would Maheli date her family's enemy? After considering everything, Lien Gishuan posed his first question. Is this all verifiable? Giji Zhong isn't one to fabricate story. After Giji Zhong's confirmation, Lian Jishuan inquired. How long has the boss been on tour? Roughly a month, I'd say. He communicates solely through messages, never call. Is that accurate? Absolutely. You're digressing again. We must prioritize Brother Suk's safety. The boss's well-being is paramount. Regarding your previous question, I knew Park Sukhan influenced the boss, but that's not inherently wrong. Threats to the boss's interests must be reported. That's undeniable. However, the crux of the matter is, his method of incitement drove the boss to irrationality, and that resulted in Ma Xiaoxing's vegetative state. The boss escaped prison, But what if there's more to Park Suk-ho's plan? What if his goal went beyond that simple escape? Did he intentionally set the boss up to make enemies? Was it all a ploy to use someone else to take the boss down? Lian Ji-shun confessed, "I know Big Phil inside and out, but the boss remains a complete mystery." Confusion washed over Gui Ji-jiang. He struggled to grasp Lian Ji-shun's meaning. What if the boss isn't even alive anymore? Park Suk-ho and the boss were old friends, remember? Maybe he wanted to finally escape living in the boss's shadow. Wei Ji-jeong instantly reached for his phone. He was determined to prove Lian Ji-shun wrong. "The boss has been contacting me this whole time." See, Lian Ji-shui hesitated. The boss rarely contacted him. If that's true, then the boss is still out there. He hasn't vanished. But I need to see him, with my own eye. Ji Jiang erupted, unable to contain his fury. "You think Brother Suk-harm would?" Boss Lian Jishun delivered a chilling warning. "Complete trust is a fool's game. Blind faith breeds betrayal. Our suspicions must remain hidden. The Emperor's gang's survival depends on it." Fear crippled the usually fearless gang captain. Suicide felt like his only escape. Moments before, he dared question Big Phil's most powerful figure. He needed to know if the boss was legitimate. If the boss was real, Gui Jiang had committed an unforgivable offense. His life wouldn't be enough to atone. But fellow captain, Lian Jishun, saw it differently. If the boss is an imposter, wouldn't our ascended leader's sacrifice be in vain? Hua Shijiang paused, considering this new perspective. It held weight. He steeled himself, then countered, "If he's the true boss, I'll send you to hell before I die." Lian Jishun scoffed, "Only if you're capable." Park Suk-ho remains unaware of this. Immediately after receiving his response, N.G. Shuan presented his theory. If their leader is truly gone, Park Suk-ho is responsible. Hua Zhijiang dismissed this theory entirely. "But if my theory is correct, both the imposter and Brother Suk will pay the ultimate price. If the boss doesn't show at Jiachuan Bridge in 3 days, I will unleash a bloodbath upon the Emperor's gang." Meanwhile, Huang Chaomin faced a difficult predicament. Ji Jijiang's words caught him completely off guard. The usually attentive student couldn't concentrate on class. Ji Yang was known for his unwavering loyalty to the gang. His demand left Huang Chaomin feeling utterly lost. He was baffled. Why would Ji Yang suddenly question his leadership? How could he convince him that he was truly Emperor Huang? Even by lunch, Huang Chaomin remained without a solution. Song Minghua noticed Huang Xiaoming's somber expression. Dining together, he inquired, "Has something been troubling you lately? Why the constant gloom?" Huang Xiaoming responded with a perplexing question. How would one make the deceased appear alive? The odd query stunned Song Minghua, but he surprisingly offered his perspective. "Perhaps a scarecrow," he suggested. "In Romance of the Three Kingdoms," he explained, "Zhuge Liang used one to deceive the enemy." Huang Chaomin dismissed it as fiction. "Impossible in reality," he countered. Suddenly, Jin Lichuan approached. He summoned Huang Chaomin to the rooftop. Without preamble, he demanded answers. He cut to the chase. Confronting Huang Chaomin, "Why hide your relation to Emperor Huang?" Huang Chaomin was instantly drenched in cold sweat, lost in thought. Then, he shifted blame to the strategist. "I hear you despise your brother. That monster's cruel, even to his own kin." The strategist likely assumes, "Even knowing my connection to Emperor Huang, I wouldn't reveal his death right now. Unless I intend to sabotage the Dragon Desert. Emperor Huang's fate remains hidden. The strategist still suspects me, waiting for me to slip up. A mind game, even at school. But for now, I'll play along." Huang Chaomin confessed to Jin Lichuan, "I feared your rejection. That's why I kept it secret." The reply came, "You did nothing wrong. How could I possibly hate you? I'm thrilled. My first friend in Big Phil is the Emperor's own brother. Revenge is practically guaranteed. Forgive me, I almost forgot in my excitement. But be cautious. Emperor Huang seems to be in Big Phil as well." Huang Chaomin was completely taken aback. Jin Lichuan's outlandish claim baffled him. He had more pressing matters to attend to. He was ready to dismiss Jin Lichuan. But then, Jin Lichuan continued, revealing he found Emperor Huang's helmet beneath Jiachuan Bridge. Huang Chaomin instantly lost his composure. "Did it have a yellow dragon pattern?" he blurted. Jin Lichuan confirmed it. Suddenly, Huang Chaomin flashed back to Han Chongshi's torment, his helmet plunging into the river. He never imagined its recovery. It was a miracle. Using his deceased brother's phone, he rose to power as South Korea's Black Gang Emperor. His reign began with a borrowed phone. but his newfound authority was quickly challenged. Suspicions about his true identity surfaced almost immediately. A demand was issued: prove yourself at Jiachuan Bridge in 3 days. Confronted with this audacious challenge, how would Huang Chaoman react? He turned to a trusted friend for guidance. His question: how do you make a dead man seem alive? A perplexing riddle. But Song Jiangmin offered a surprising solution. Construct a scarecrow, like the legendary juggernaut of the Three Kingdoms. An ancient tale sparks a modern scheme. Inspiration struck Huang Chaoman. He discovered Jin Lichuan possessed Emperor Huang's helmet. A crucial piece of the puzzle falls into place. Huang Chaoman saw an opportunity to manipulate Jin Lichuan. He would transform Lichuan into a false leader. Lichuan's thirst for vengeance would be his downfall. After all, Jin Likun was unaware of Emperor Huang's demise, but the Emperor's gang, 1,000 strong with 4 captains, posed a formidable obstacle. Could he penetrate their defenses and launch a surprise attack on Emperor Huang? Jin Likun firmly believed he could. Just a week prior, sheer audacity would have sufficed, but Gui Shizhong had recently shattered his confidence. He'd been beaten to a pulp, left questioning everything. Huang Xiaoman delivered a harsh truth: revenge wouldn't come that easily. One man couldn't stand against an army, not even with his life. These words ignited Jin Lach's fury. He gripped Huang Xiaoman's shoulders, enraged. With enough will, Jin Lechen declared, anything is possible. But Huang Chaoman countered with cold logic: if that were true, injustice would be non-existent. Huang Chaoman's motivation for revenge stemmed from relentless bullying. He vowed to transform himself, to rise above the torment. His training ground? The internet, where he immersed himself in martial art. His plan? A calculated counterattack upon the return to school. But fate had other plans in store. Confronting his nemesis, he delivered a resounding slap, declaring, consider this payback. The era of tolerance is over. I will not be subjected to this any longer. Huang Chaoman adopted a fighting stance, ready to unleash his newfound prowess, but his opponent quickly summoned reinforcements. The result? A brutal beating for Huang Chaoman. A harsh lesson was learned that day. Single-handedly conquering kingdoms? That's purely the stuff of anime. Jin Lichuan pondered this revelation deeply. He had lived in fear of his enemy's crew. Are you suggesting I abandon my quest for vengeance? Forgive someone who so viciously wronged my friend? Sensing the misunderstanding, Huang Chaoman jumped in with an explanation. One man can't take down a crowd, he stated. But a group seeking vengeance? That's a different game. How can I build a new crew in Big Phil? There's one ready and waiting. The only force that rivals the Emperor's gang. But isn't the Big Phil Union Yushan's side? How can they help me get revenge? Follow my lead, Chaoman assured. After I talk to Jin Lichuan, he'll be on board. Huang Chaoman summoned Jin, along with Zixian and Mahali. He revealed everything that had transpired. Di Jiyang's invitation to meet Huang Chaoman sent chills down their spines. Utter shock. Then, Chaoman's plan brought a wave of relief. But the plan itself left them speechless, suspecting Chaomin's sanity. He wanted the Union to confront Gui Shijiang. He inquired about Jing Taijun's contact information at Qingbi, specifically asking Jin Zixian. Jin Zixian, however, found the approach surprisingly straightforward and potent, yet it risked significantly weakening the Emperor's faction. Huang Chaoman declared it a potentially devastating blow. Rest assured, I'm not aiming for his complete elimination, he clarified. Jin Zixian questioned the need for the Union's involvement. Huang Chaoman's response: I intend to amplify the chaos. Zheng Taijun's capabilities were frankly insufficient. Expecting him to handle Guaji Jun was simply unrealistic. Even so, Guaji Jun couldn't single-handedly defeat an entire group. Once pushed to his absolute limit, the protagonist would emerge. Unexpectedly, the entire gang appeared. Their objective? To remove a man. Turns out, 2 Emperor's gang captains arrived at Jiachuan Bridge as planned, but their notoriously absent boss was a no-show. Annoyed, Lian Jishuan warned, 10 more minutes, and you know what happens. Beside him, Guaji Jiang anxiously ground his teeth. Relax, he muttered, convinced their boss would burst onto the scene any second, and give them a proper dressing down. It'll happen, he reassured himself. Wojia Jiang clenched his fists in anticipation. Instead, Union members appeared, led by the 10th-ranked Zheng Taijun. He'd come on a hunch, never expecting to find Wu Shijiang there. The intel was right, he realized. He planned to use his numbers to overwhelm the 2 Emperor's gang captains. But faced with this standoff, the captains remained impassive. Their first targets, the Union members. After all, the enemy was right there. From above, Huang Chaoman observed silently. He watched everything unfold. Even exceptional skills couldn't guarantee victory against a crowd. He was certain of this. Now, he'd wait for the Union to push them to their breaking point. Then, Jin Luchuan would enter the fray, but plans rarely go as expected. The two dispatched every enemy with effortless ease. They even found time to speculate on their boss's arrival. Zhang Taijun was furious. His subordinates were unbelievably incompetent. He had to take charge and rally his troop, but he wouldn't be a shield. He sent his men forward, while he lurked in the shadows. A swift kick to Guiji Zhang, then a cowardly retreat. He punctuated his power move with a smirk directed at Guiji Zhang. Suddenly, a figure emerged from beneath the bridge. Footsteps alerted Guiji Zhang. He spun around, anticipating his boss. Instead, he was met with disappointment. It wasn't who he expected. Standing before him was Jin Zhishan, captain of the Emperor's Gang's formidable fourth squad. His squad followed close behind. Panic swept across the faces of the Union members. Enemy reinforcements had arrived sooner than anticipated, but the true shock was yet to come. Even Li Yan Jishuan froze. Only Zhang Taijun remained paralyzed by fear at the sight of Jin Zhishan. A subordinate's voice broke through his terror. His gaze snapped towards Jiachuang Bridge. The sight that greeted him sent chills down his spine. A familiar figure stood on the bridge. He wore Emperor Huang's distinctive dragon-patterned helmet. Unbeknownst to them, this was all orchestrated by Huang Xiaoming. Jin Lichuang's appearance was a calculated move. Jin Zhuoxian had thoroughly terrified the Union. This was merely the opening act. The true scheme was yet to unfold. Jin Lichuan's motivation? Huang Chomin convinced him that this was the sole solution for dealing with the Emperor's gang leader. Despite this, Huang Chomin couldn't shake his anxiety. The plan was fraught with peril. Their hopes rested entirely on the strategist's shoulder. All eyes were on his reaction. As predicted, the strategist acted. He summoned those near Jiachuang Bridge, claiming Emperor Huang had appeared. Their mission: unmask the Emperor. Confusion reigned, but curiosity prevailed. On Jiachuan Bridge, Giji Jian was ecstatic at the sight of his boss. Lian Jishuan, however, remained skeptical. Could it truly be him? Guo Jijiang was adamant. That's the custom helmet I crafted for him, a one-of-a-kind piece. He recklessly charged forward, desperate to reach the boss's side. Lian Jishuan still suspected a fake, despite the genuine helmet. Impossible to steal. Lian Jishuan's doubt became a dangerous distraction, then a lifeline. Hua Jiezhang's shout saved Lian Jishuan from a blindside attack, a last-second block. Confusion deepened for Lian Jishuan. The Federation arrived mid-meeting. Recognizing Li Xiaomu, the fifth rank, Zhang Taijun offered a respectful greeting. Li Xiaomu barely registered him. Exercise trumped pleasantries. Drawn by the commotion, his attention shifted to Huang Wu, demanding answers for his prolonged absence. I'm practically corroding from inactivity. My chance to finally take him down. He launched himself at Huang Wu Di like a berserker. Zhang Taijun, watching, went ice cold. The rumors, they were true. Litsamu's relentless training had a single purpose: surpassing Huang Wu Di. But before he could reach him, Wei Jijiang intercepted. Instantaneous combat. The air crackled with tension as they clashed. Li Xiaomu stood his ground, trading blows with Wu Xizhang. A Federation legend claimed the top 5 ranked members could single-handedly face an Emperor Gang captain. Initially, Zhang Taijun scoffed. Now, he was a believer. But then, a fist shattered his certainty. Zhang Taijun was sent flying by a brutal punch. The attacker, Jin Xian, the 4th squad's leader, surveyed the scene. Federation members were flooding in. Fresh combatants joined the fray. 3 Emperor Gang leaders stood present. If this continued, a minor skirmish could ignite into all-out war. In that moment, easing the leader's suspicions would become impossible. One wrong move could shatter the entire Emperor Gang. Huang Chomin, what's your game? Cheap shots in a one-on-one fight earn nothing but scorn. But Li Tsiaomu seemed to have forgotten that. His own arrival was marked by a sneak attack. Huijiang's timely warning allowed Lian Jishuan to barely defend himself. That kick? Lian Jishuan's payback. Guo Jijiang erupted at Liang Jishuan. How dare you interfere in a duel? This guarantees a fallback excuse for the loser. He can claim foul play to avoid Guai Zhiyang's wrath. A clever escape from Guai Zhiyang's relentless nagging. Lien Jishun subtly directed the boss's attention. A silent gesture, a purposeful glance. On Jiaquan Bridge, a crowd surged toward the boss. Guai Zhiyang erupted in fury at the sight. The fight with Li Sao Mo instantly forgotten. He desperately needed to reach the boss's side. Li Tsao Mu cursed, then joined the rush. Racing towards the bridge, fueled by vengeance. He craved a personal victory over Huang Wudi. They were oblivious to the true intention. The Federation merely aimed to unmask the boss. Their motive remained a mystery. Following the strategist's command guaranteed a reward. Obedience promised recompense. But the task proved challenging. Overpowering the boss required sheer force of number. Jin Lichuan, hindered by his heavy gear, trapped, he couldn't escape. He clung to his helmet, his last defense, desperate to keep it from being ripped away, his grip failing. He jumped just as Gi Young reached the bridge, a leap of desperation. He watched his boss plunge into the water. He saw it happen. The fall. Rage surged. He attacked, a whirlwind of fury. Liang Jishun witnessed the plunge too. Disbelief washed over him. Federation nobodies, they pushed the boss? Impossible. Jin Lichuan surfaced, reaching the far side of Jiachuan Bridge, but ashore. LV Shangsai stood before him, a chilling sight. Shock jolted him, his helmet slipped and clattered to the ground. The battle raged on. Reinforcements poured in, relentless. Despite his prowess, Jin Zaxian was visibly exhausted. Sweat poured down him. His eyes sought Huang Chomin, desperate for direction. He needed to know the next move. The imposter Huang Wudi was gone, his plunge into the river sealing his fate. Exposure was imminent. How will you prove the boss lives? He demanded. A helmet isn't proof. Guo Zhijiang might be fooled, he scoffed, but not the third squad captain. Lien Jishun's suspicions are already aroused. He'll want visual confirmation. The boss fell just beyond the bridge. By the time the Federation reacts, he'll be long gone. His escape was abruptly halted. A group blocked his path. Wu Yunzi, ranked 4th, led them. Instead of attacking, he spoke briefly, then turned to Li. We're outnumbered 4-1. We're at a standstill. This is a pointless war of attrition. But Lien Jishun was stunned. Only 4 people were present, including the boss. Could I be wrong? Even Jin Zhuxian was taken aback. He couldn't fathom Huang Chaomin's strategy. Here's what happened. The strategist confirmed Jin Lichuan was wearing Huang Wudi's helmet. He immediately called the president to verify Huang Wudi was alive. He called to confirm Huang Wudi was still alive. The strategist wanted to keep the boss's death a secret. He kept the news from the Emperor Gang. Seeing the Federation retreat, Huang Chaomin finally smiled. His gamble had worked. His risky plan had paid off. After all, under these circumstances, only one person could confirm Huang Wudi's survival. It wasn't Jin Lichuan, or even Huang Chaomin. It was the strategist. The one person who wanted Huang Wudi dead more than anyone. Jin Lichuan was baffled. LV Shang's CAI's silent departure left him speechless. Humiliation prevented him from asking questions. He grabbed his helmet and retreated. Curses muttered under his breath. Unbeknownst to him, Li Tsao Mu observed everything. The battle-hungry Li Tsao Mu couldn't grasp the situation. Damn it, he grumbled. The twin brothers' destinies diverged drastically. The elder brother, powerful physique, simple mind. He commanded half of 2 underworld. His girlfriend orchestrated his fatal car accident. The younger brother, frail body, sharp intellect. He effortlessly controlled his brother's Emperor Gang. Even Jin Zaxian respected his audacity. He deemed him a true heir to Huang Wudi's legacy. Huang Chaomin skillfully employed the strategist. The 2 captains' suspicions were allayed. Hua Jijiang, from the combat group, wept openly. He believed he'd deeply disappointed his boss. His doubts triggered the boss's confrontation. Meanwhile, Liang Jishun from intelligence reacted entirely differently. Grown men don't cry, he scoffed. The boss is alive, isn't that enough? You have no right to say that. You fueled the fire. You pushed the boss to the edge. Jin Zaxian probed for answers. Suspecting the boss was natural. His behavior was strange. A month of absence, orders via messages, anyone would be suspicious. Are your doubts gone now? Irrelevant. That doesn't matter. The strategist retreated after confirmation. We were wrong. The strategist wouldn't fear a fake. He wouldn't validate a fraud. This unfolded precisely as Xiaoman intended. Speaking of intentions, This was less a plan, more a necessity. With suspicion of insider treachery swirling among the captain, the outsider strategist became the most trustworthy voice. Zishan's curiosity was piqued. Why the strategist's secrecy about Huang? I informed him of Woody's demise, yet he kept silent, leading me to suspect ulterior motives. Perhaps he aims to seize the phone and control the Emperor Gang. My deliberate outburst was meant to deceive the captains into believing Woody lived. Shuoxian was impressed by this deduction, but something's amiss. Their parting words were peculiar. They warned against informing Suko of today's event. Did you summon the boss without his knowledge? Essentially, yes, but further details remain confidential. It's all for the Emperor Gang's benefit. Even Huang Chomin was baffled. He couldn't understand why the first squad captain was being kept in the dark. He initially blamed Park Suka, but now, secrets were being kept from him. Huang Chomin started analyzing the situation. The boss was called due to suspicions of an impostor. Could Huang Woody's death be connected to Park Sukhan? Surely not. Jin Zhaoshan admitted his ignorance of the precise reason, but warned that captain-level secrecy signaled organizational fracturing. This was detrimental to the war against the Federation. Victory demanded a unified front. Resolving internal conflicts was a leader's duty. Huang Chomin sighed, overwhelmed by the tasks ahead. A tough day, but I'll remember this, he acknowledged. Almost forgot something important. Speaking of stability, let's discuss the ace position. I have a candidate. Meanwhile, Jean Lechuan wrestled with the day's unsettling event. Apologizing to LV Shang Tsai was beyond him, and she was ghosting him. Jean Lucun was completely lost. He couldn't help but vent. Why did he have to witness that? The biggest mystery was why that ghost of a guy showed up in person. A flicker of relief hit Jean Lucun, remembering Huang Chaomin's words. Jean Lucun initially balked. Deceiving LV Shan felt wrong. But Huang Chaomin reminded him. His mission at Big Phil was to take down Huang Woody, not to befriend LV Shan. Harsh, but true. LV Shan Tsai's Big Phil Federation was infamous. Their school had been swallowed up and humiliated by the Federation, leading some to believe LV Shan Tsai was no better than Huang Woody. He's a pawn, not a partner. Loyalty isn't part of the equation. Your justice should be blind, not biased by favor. His kindness shouldn't sway your principle. Think it through, really think it through. A sigh escaped his lips. Huang Chaomin's influence was undeniable, but in hindsight, his words held weight. Huang Woody was now his sole responsibility. The thought barely registered before LV Shangsai's call interrupted. He intended to clarify the earlier incident, but LV seemed indifferent. His concern lay elsewhere. Jean Lechuan, was he home? He needed him. His presence was requested, urgently. I'm outside, the voice declared. Cut to a sterile hospital room. Mahelli just hung up with Huang Chaomin. A surprise visitor arrived. It was Guaji Jiang, the Emperor Gang's second-in-command. Before Mahelli could react, he was at her bedside. He demanded the truth. Don't test my patience. I've been on edge about the Emperor Gang lately, paranoid, even. And you're an enigma. Cryptic, unpredictable. But undeniably sharp. Since you're the boss's woman, I've held back my suspicions. But one thing keeps nagging at me. It simply doesn't add up. You're with the man who destroyed your brother. And you appeared right after he did it. So tell me, why are you with him? Mahaliai's chuckle sent chills down his spine. What do you think? My love for him is the only reason I'm with him. Guiji Jian seethed at her word. He violently grabbed Mahali's hair. You lunatic, don't play games with me. Weren't you just conspiring against the boss? Don't think I've forgotten. I may have been blind then. But now I see clearly. You're scheming against him, aren't you? Am I wrong? She slapped his hand away. Huang Woody knows I'm his sister. How dare you lie? Would he be with someone who'd betray him? Besides, love defies logic. I love the man who almost killed my brother. Our love is deeper than you think. If you doubt me, ask him yourself. Appeal to Emperor Brother directly. Don't investigate me secretly and then stir up trouble. Ultimately, security intervened, forcing Wei Jizhang's temporary retreat. Mahelli seized the moment to taunt him. Learn to communicate with the boss, he sneered. After all, you've deeply disappointed Emperor Brother. Hua Jijiang erupted in fury. Breaking free, he stormed off. Huang Zhaomin's plan worked flawlessly. Hua Jijiang now believed Huang would live. She held the upper hand, leaving him speechless. He couldn't even confirm the truth. He muttered Vixen under his breath. But before departing, "You may not know love," he warned Yahello, "but the boss loves you. So you're spared. Still, a word of caution. Seeking revenge against the boss? You've miscalculated. You've chosen the wrong target. Your brother's predicament is not solely the boss's doing. He was manipulated and exploited. Reconsider any rash actions." Hua Jijiang believed. The boss reigned supreme. Only Mahalai posed a threat. He never anticipated that righteous high school student joining the Emperor Gang, serving his own enemy. What drove Jin Lichuan to such a decision? The answer: Jin Zhexian. Qingbi's pride arrived at Dragon Day High. A collective gasp filled the air. Even Song Mingue felt the immense pressure, 100 times more intense than facing Duju and Fu. Terror nearly consumed me then. And now, fear threatens to overwhelm me again. Suddenly, Jin Zhishan halted before it and demanded Jin Lichuan's whereabouts. Nearby, two onlookers exchanged smug glances. That kid was walking straight into a trap. At that moment, Jin Lichuan, alerted by the disturbance, approached and, to everyone's surprise, warmly greeted the newcomer. Jin Zishan recalled Huang Chaomin's warning. Recruiting him for the Emperor Gang would likely be met with fierce resistance, but Huang Chaomin had assured him he'd handle the persuasion. Jin Zishan planned a standard recruitment pit. Before he could utter a word, the newcomers stunned everyone. By volunteering to join the Emperor Gang, Huang Chaomin was utterly bewildered. This wasn't how things were supposed to go. Han Xiongshi and the others were speechless. Had Jin Lichuan lost his mind? Jin Zishan's reaction was markedly different. Outwardly, he remained composed. Inwardly, he was stunned. Impossible. Something's not right. 2 days prior, LV Shanxi confronted Jin Lichuan. She hadn't realized at Jiachuan Bridge that Jin Lichuan seemed to have fallen in, thanks to the Federation. "Are you all right?" she asked, but guilt consumed Jin. Her concern was genuine. Yet he'd deceived her. Overwhelmed, he stammered. She cared, and he'd lied. His nerves betrayed him, causing him to stutter. LV Shanxi saw through him. "Don't dwell on it," she advised. "Consider it a strategic move. You're here in Big Phil for revenge against Huang Woody. After all, it's only natural to use the Federation against those troublesome captains." Despite being exposed, guilt lingered. After much deliberation, he decided to apologize to LV Shanxi. "I said it's fine," she said, "but you've surprised me. I mistook you for a justice-obsessed robot. I underestimated your capacity for human feeling. I'm here because I endorse your quest for vengeance. This transcends the Emperor Gang Federation conflict. It's about punishing the wicked. Evil deserves consequences. Knowing your burning desire to bring down Huang Wood, I have a proposition. We've reached a critical juncture. Join the Emperor Gang." Stunned, Jin Lichuan erupted in protest. "You want me to serve Huang Woody? Preposterous." LV Shankai anticipated this outburst. "Follow my lead, and Huang Woody's downfall is assured. You will crush him." Jin Lichuan would stop at nothing to achieve his goal, even becoming Huang Woody's pawn. Jin Zixian, suspicions unresolved, eyed Huang Chaomin warily. With a confirming nod received, the request was granted. Jin Lichuan was instructed to meet at Donghai Park after school. He left abruptly, leaving a stunned audience. If Jin Lichuan joined the gang, he'd control the school, all under the Emperor Gang's rule. Whispers filled the air, until interrupted by a new arrival. Jin Fu, Dragon Day High's notorious bully, appeared, but instead of his usual menace, he was brimming with glee. Jin Lichuan's connection to the Federation's strategist had to be part of a master plan. Upon seeing Jin Zishan, he unleashed his mockery. "Recruiting gang members? How very sincere," he sneered. Jin Zishan ignored the taunts, simply issuing a reminder about next month's protection fees. Yet, Jin Fu's smile persisted. Despite the warning, Jin Fu's grin remained unwavering. He suspected the strategist's true motive, embedding a mole right inside the Emperor Gang. Once the Federation regained control, Dragon Day's fate could change. It wouldn't be dictated by the damned Emperor Gang any longer. He'd regain his authority, and those protection fees would flow once more. The thought triggered a sinister grin. Meanwhile, Jin Lichuan had a completely different perspective. Joining the Emperor Gang had been surprisingly easy. Huang Chaomin's arrival snapped him back to reality. Their conversation began. Words were exchanged. Huang Chaomin learned the strategist's plan, Jin Lichuan, the infiltrate. His mission, expose Huang Wudi's vulnerability. Target acquired, Huang Wudi's weaknesses. Jin Lichuan realized, brains over bronze. His goal, pure effectiveness. Elsewhere, Huang Chaomin pondered the strategist's game. The strategist was clearly a pawn this time. Yet, he offered Jin Lichuan such a proposition. Anger would be a natural response. But his generosity was surprising, not just suggesting espionage, but also promising that joining the Emperor Gang and providing intel would guarantee opportunities to dethrone the boss. Huang Chaomin grasped the strategist's true intent. He acknowledged the plan's merit to Jin Lichuan. Information benefiting the Federation would increase the odds of eliminating Emperor Gang leaders. Their conversation was cut short by the PE class bell. Huang Chaomin seized the moment to reflect. The strategist's suggestion for Jin Lichuan to infiltrate the Emperor Gang carried a deeper implication, exposing a potential imposter. This news would inevitably reach him. Does this mean I'm in the clear? Or is he setting a trap, double-checking my reaction? Will I expose Jin Lichuan's charade? The thought amused him. A slight smirk played on his lips. Everything was unfolding perfectly. Strategically speaking, if I'm the real deal, Jin Lichuan's infiltration benefits him, but if I'm an imposter, I have to feign ignorance about Jin Lichuan's leak. Plausible deniability is key. Heads or tails, the Federation win. During Wei Zhang's rescue, the strategist already suspected a mole. After the Huang Wudi incident, he knew Jin Lichuan was ready to move, ready for payback. I'd hoped he'd suggest using Jin Lichuan, penetrate the Emperor Gang as an embedded operative, all thanks to these two incidents. I never expected things to unfold so perfectly. Since that's the case, there's no need to suggest Jin Lichuan leak intel. He'll be inside the Emperor Gang. No need for subtle maneuver. He'll be our man on the inside. Why orchestrate a situation that seemingly undermines me? It appears counterintuitive, I know, but this lays the foundation for a future blindside, a surprise attack the strategist won't see coming. So, strategist, remember this, seemingly free gains always come at a cost. Whose vision will prevail in the end? We shall see. Consumed by vengeance, the boy became a pawn, barely worthy of the title. Turns out, Jin Lichuan went to Donghai Park as planned, but there was no welcoming committee. Instead, a chilling reception awaited him. Jin Lichuan's gang initiation began. Instantly, he was encircled by Emperor Gang members. Jin Lichuan initially assumed a simple brawl was all that stood between him and membership. Then Jin Zaixian stepped forward, changing everything. I'm your opponent, Jin Zaixian declared, but victory isn't the goal. Simply stay within these boundaries, he gestured. Survive for 10 minutes without being forced out, and land a single punch. That's all it takes to pass. However, failure to land a blow, or being knocked out of bounds within 10 minutes means elimination. Jin Lichuan listened, then scoffed. He sensed underestimation. Wouldn't a quick finish be embarrassing for you? Jin Lichuan taunted. Unless you're afraid of a swift defeat, don't hold back. He launched a lightning-fast punch. Jin Zhiyan effortlessly sidestepped the blow. But Jin Lichuan had anticipated this. It was all part of his plan. The first strike was merely a setup for the real attack, a surefire hit, or so it seemed. But Jin Zhiyan's agility was breathtaking. He effortlessly evaded the attack and seamlessly countered, using Jin Lichuan's momentum against him. Jin Lichuan went flying. One more rule. Lights out, you're out. Elsewhere, Song Manhwa and Huang Chaomin discussed Jin Lichuan's rising star. He's making a name for himself. That explains his easy entry into the Emperor Gang, but Huang Chaomin disagreed. He'd already spoken with Jin Zhixian. I'll recruit Jin Lichuan, he declared, but he has to pass my test. Huang Xiaoming requested leniency. His fighting skills are irrelevant. Jin Xiaoyan stood firm. Your strategy is admirable, but this isn't a game of chess. The Emperor Gang isn't playing games. These aren't chess pieces. They're individuals, each with their own mind. Their loyalty stems from the honor of being part of the Emperor Gang. Dropping in an unknown ace out of nowhere, without any testing or initiation, is a direct insult to their pride. It'll instantly breed suspicion among the captain, and shatter my credibility. Without their trust, I can't execute my plan effectively. But Huang Chomin, clueless, asked about the tactic. Our objective: dismantle the Big Phil Federation, setting markers toward the final goal, mapping the necessary path. That's strategy. That's the roadmap. Then, devising countermeasures and acting to reach that goal. That's tactic. Victory arises from the synergy of strategy and tactic. A perfect strategy is useless. Unexecutable tactics are useless. However, I'm unsure how you intend to utilize Jinlechen. Simply put, if he can't earn the gang's respect, this strategy is doomed. Partnering with you was the right call. You highlighted a critical oversight. Let's follow your lead. Implement a rigorous initiation test. I already have a plan to exploit the strategist's vulnerabilities using Jinlechen, but as Ashian pointed out, if Jinlechen can't legitimately join the Emperor Gang, my plan becomes pointless. Back then, he struggled against Guaji Jiang. Xu Xian surpasses Guaji Jiang in strength. If Jinlechen hasn't improved, he'll fail Xu Xian's test. Huang Chaomin's prediction came true. Jinlechen was taking a brutal, one-sided beating. 5 minutes had already ticked by. Time was running out. If Jinlechen couldn't land a blow, elimination was inevitable. But amidst the onslaught, he realized Jin Zishan wasn't just strong and fast, he was agile too. His flexibility was remarkable. It sparked a memory of Guaji Jiang, another formidable opponent. A frustrated thought surfaced. Were all Emperor Gang members monsters? Before he could dwell on it, Jin Zishan unleashed another powerful punch. The impact sent Jinlechen reeling. He nearly flew out of bounds. At the last moment, he grabbed someone. He regained his balance. There were no rules against it. Jin Sasha remained silent. Only 3 minutes remained. At this rate, you'll be exposed as all talk. The challenge was issued. I despise such people, Jinlechen retorted. But if I had to fell a tree in an hour, he continued, I'd spend 45 minutes sharpening my axe. Consider this my sharpening phase. Meanwhile, the others debated a trip to Donghai Park. Suddenly, a stunning woman appeared, scanning the area. Song Mingwu was immediately captivated. He lamented his lack of romantic encounter, then abruptly grabbed someone and ran. A moment later, she was back, running towards the pair. She bypassed Song Mingwu and seized Huang Xiaomei's hand, leaving Song Mingwu speechless. He was completely stunned. Even Huang Chaomin was baffled. Mahali claimed urgent business. For a righteous man, his cunning surpassed any villain. It was his only path to victory. 3 minutes remained on the clock. The initiation test was nearing its end. Jinlechen finally landed a blow on Jin Xian. Blocked. The attack was ineffective. The rules were clear. A blocked attack didn't count. Jinlechen pressed his advantage. He unleashed a relentless assault on Jin Xian. But then, a twist. Jin Xian seized the opening, launching a counterattack. One punch sent Jinlechen flying. Jinlechen struggled to his feet. 1 minute left. The clock was ticking down to 0. Just 60 seconds remained. Jin Xian felt a pang of sympathy for Huang Chaomin. At this rate, passing the test was impossible. Suddenly, a smile spread across Jinlechen's face. Confusion turned to surprise as Jinlechen charged forward. Jin Xian dodged, raising his hand to strike. A dirty tactic. Jinlechen flung dirt. A cloud of dust filled the air. Jin Xian's punch was disrupted. Blinded, but only for a moment. Jin Zhejian shielded his eyes with a swift hand, but the move took him completely by surprise. He hadn't anticipated the kid scooping up a handful of dirt. Jinlechen seized the moment, launching a surprise attack. Jin Zhuxian reacted with astonishing agility. He evaded the blow and retaliated with a lightning-fast back kick. Jinlechen couldn't help but marvel at Jin Zhuxian's incredible fighting skill. Undeterred, he pressed on. He willingly took a hit to the face. Then, with a surge of strength, he grabbed Jin Zhuxian's right leg. Jin Zhuxian's balance was compromised. This was Luchuan's one and only shot. Jin Zhuxian went down. As he attempted to rise, Jin Luchuan was on him in a flash, pinned and momentarily trapped. A standstill. The spectators were awestruck. He's trying to pin the captain down like that, and force him out of bounds? In that moment, Jin Zishan was inches from the line. Rage consumed him. You were so righteous before, you bastard. Now you resort to these dirty tactics. His hands clenched the earth. Jin Luchuan hated winning this way, but he saw no other option. I can't beat Huang Woody as I am. My dream of revenge, of seeing him on his knees, it was arrogant. Even if I have to grovel, stoop to his level, I will find a way to win. This is my only path to victory. Time ticked down. But he couldn't force Jin Jian out, yet Jin Jian passed him. Finally, Jin Luchuan collapsed, relief washing over him. His lower body workouts always left him drained. Zaixian reeled. Zishan approached his men, tossed a uniform to Luchuan. He commended Luchuan's brilliant tactic and welcomed him into the Emperor Gang. The others weren't as welcoming. Luchuan had humiliated their captain, a truly despicable act. But in that power struggle, Luchuan had dominated Zaixian. He was clearly not someone to trifle with. Best not to provoke him. The consequences could be dire. Zishan, seeing his plan succeed, exhaled in relief. As he reached for his phone to call Chomin, Chomin called him. Disaster had struck. The Federation had Mahali. The girl spoke only one sentence. But it chilled everyone to the bone. All because her boyfriend is the renowned Huang Woody. Just moments ago, Mahali was leading Huang Chaomin somewhere. They opted for a shortcut and bumped into Federation officers. Their leader, captivated by Mahali, immediately asked her out. Huang Chaomin, whispering urgently, suggested a different path. But Mahali was a firecracker today. She bluntly told the man to leave. Huang Chaomin's jaw hit the floor. "What are you doing?" he exclaimed. "Couldn't we have just gone another way?" Normally, Mahali would have handled this smoothly. What had gotten into her? Humiliated, the officer was furious and ready to retaliate. The Federation's reputation was on the line. Huang Chaomin intercepted the attack. "My apologies, gentlemen," he said. "She's rather sensitive today. We're just innocent bystanders." The group paused, surprised. Instead of anger, laughter erupted. The scene felt strangely familiar. A classic cliché unfolded. Feigning weakness to avoid a fight. Seeing the misunderstanding, Huang Chaomin quickly clarified. "That's not it at all." But conflict was inevitable. He urged Mahali, "Run. Get out of here." Escape was blocked. Their leader wouldn't allow it. Suddenly, pepper spray filled the air. Blinded by pain, he screamed for help. Huang Chaomin was shocked. Mahali had come prepared. In this moment, things just got worse. He snatched Mahali and bolted. But her hair snagged, yanking her back. She was violently pulled away. Huang Chaomin erupted in a furious curse. "Damn it!" He lunged back at the mob. He ended up brutally beaten. And still unable to save Mahali. Desperate, he called Jin Zishan. The captor's ultimatum: go to Gaucho Industrial to save his girlfriend. Gaucho Industrial, a perilous location. The school was precariously situated, surrounded by Federation territory, Dundang and Dirium. Entrapment was a real threat. Worse, it was outside the Emperor Gang's domain. Deploying gang members there was improbable. The situation was dire. They'd have to fight their way in. Jin Zashian declared he would lead the charge. Huang Xiaomin was stunned. He started to speak. Jin Zhuxian recalled Mahali's promise. Upon the Emperor Gang's victory over the Federation, she would disband the Emperor Gang, ending the conflict at Big Phil instantly. Despite being a woman, Mahali is a valued comrade. Her plight cannot be ignored. But the situation is dire. Jin Zhuxian emphasized the importance of both tactics and strategy. "I've always valued your wisdom," he said. "This time, allow me to handle the tactic." "Very well. I entrust this to you. I will offer my support." After the call ended, Huang Chaomin was torn. Jin Shishan was undeniably capable, but this was a suicide mission. At Gaucho Industrial, urgent news arrived. Mahali had declared herself Huang Woody's girlfriend. She was untouchable. Hearing this, the man shoved his way through. He grabbed Mahali's collar, sneering. "Huang Woody's girl? Ridiculous. And even if you were, so what? Get him here. I'll crush him." Mahali saw right through him. "Tough talk, but your eyes are telling a different story. If you were really that confident, you wouldn't be stalling. Just grabbing my collar? Coward, am I right?" The mention of Huang Woody ignited his fury. He couldn't contain his rage any longer. His fist rose, ready to strike. But it froze. The roar of engines filled the air. Motorcycle engines, approaching fast. A panicked underling looked out the window. The Emperor Gang, they had arrived. His first day, and this. The boy stood alone. A group activity, meant for everyone but him. The newcomer was excluded. Unbeknownst to him, his own brother orchestrated it. He'd recognized Yahello just moments ago. The Emperor Gang had targeted the United Association's Gao Show industry. News reached boss Gao Jibing and jolted him awake. Ignoring the beauties beside him, he rushed to the balcony. He surveyed the scene below and frowned. His power wasn't about money or fighting prowess. It was about connections. Gao Jibing knew this well. His backing was everything, despite his qualifications. He'd chosen to follow Brother Fengshan to Gao Shao Industry. Back in the nursery building, Brother Fengshan had been like a true brother to him. Gao Jibing's strategy worked flawlessly. Thanks to Brother Fengshan's influence, he became untouchable within the school. Brother Fengshan's reputation terrified even his own classmates. They were no match for Gao Jibing. He was the obvious choice for the next school bully. To solidify his image, he emulated Brother Fengshan's look, down to the beard. He copied the hairstyle, the beard, every detail of Brother Fengshan's style. He ultimately inherited the throne as Gaucho Industries' leader. The reality surpassed his wildest dream. Money, fame, women, he had it all. Everything came easily. So he joined the United Association to fully indulge in these privileges. He exploited the school's remote location to live a life of pure pleasure. His plan, a year of non-stop partying before graduation. The Emperor Gang's sudden raid on Gaucho Industry. Gao Jibing struggled to understand. Why challenge my authority now, he wondered. He accused his subordinate, is this some kind of joke? Tell me the truth, and quickly. The Emperor Gang couldn't possibly be bored enough to invade their school, could they? Then he learned some members had brought in a girl. But this girl was apparently Huang Woody's girlfriend. This explained everything. Gao Jibing broke into a cold sweat. He was about to demand answers when something struck him. He paused, seeking confirmation. Huang Woody's girlfriend? Are you sure? Pretty sure. We just grabbed her. And the Emperor Gang attacked right after. The timing's too perfect. It has to be connected. We need to return her. It's the only way to resolve this. Pointless brawls and damaging the United Association's reputation. But Gao Jibing dismissed his subordinate's caution. He saw opportunity instead. A chance to rise even higher. The thought brought a smile to his face. Bring her to me, he ordered. Meanwhile, Jean Lichuan sat lost in thought. He pondered the jacketed men. Did they resent being summoned at a moment's notice? If so, what kind of man was Wang Woody? A text message arrived. Cut to Gaucho Industry, a battlefield. Students were taking a beating. Jean Zashian pressed his men onward. Faster, he urged. United Association reinforcements were imminent. The battle needed a swift end. The Emperor Gang strategized. The United Association was herded into a single location. Zashian orchestrated the maneuver. A parallel driving tactic was employed. Enemies were sent scattering. The flawless execution stunned Zashian. He hadn't anticipated such seamless success. Only Lu Chuan felt a pang of regret at missing the action. Currently, only a handful of Emperor Gang captains knew Yahello's secret. She was Huang Woody's girlfriend. Simply put, this was a full-blown guerrilla assault on Gaucho Industry. A solo rescue mission awaited. Yahello was trapped in a separate classroom. Yahello understood Gao Jibing's summon. She demanded an immediate call to the strategist. Gao Jibing was perplexed. The king's woman had revealed herself. Why? What was her game? A single shouted sentence through a megaphone erupted the room in laughter. Forget the girlfriend narrative. The gang leader yearns for a return to academia. He's universally perceived as nothing more than a fighter. Recently, a disturbing event unfolded. The United Associations abducted Yahello Huan. Chomin was stunned. Yahello carried self-defense tools, utterly out of character for her. Did she foresee danger? What message was she trying to convey? Her demeanor screamed anxiety, regardless of the cause. I must save her, now. Meanwhile, Yahello urged Gao Jibing to contact the strategist. Their captive? Huang Woody's girlfriend, she claimed. Gao Jibing disregarded her plea. Instead, a slap. There's been a misunderstanding, he asserted. My men were momentarily intimidated by the Huang Woody connection. I'm not like them. I see the bigger picture. This location is vulnerable. If the Emperor Gang attacks here, they could easily be trapped. Huang Woody likely wouldn't risk his men, but your capture at Gaucho Industry changed everything. They attacked relentlessly. Huang Woody clearly values you. I'm not the one at a disadvantage here. The Emperor is desperate to get you back. Just as Gao Jibing finished, an underling rushed in with a megaphone. Gao Jibing grabbed Mahali. He took the megaphone. He went to the window and yelled, "Emperor Gang! I'm the head of Gaucho industry." Gao Jibing's shout got their attention. "I don't know why you're here. Feast your eyes, this is your empress, and Huang Woody's girl. So, make a move. And she's going down. It's only the 3rd floor, sure. But that's a long drop for a delicate thing like her. Broken bones, minimum. Possibly fatal. And if that happens, your dear leader will be devastated. And you lot, you'll face worse than a scolding. You won't get off easy. Understood?" 2 columns. Neil. Gao Jibing couldn't help but sneer. "Idiots, we have a hostage, and their audacity, barging in like they own the place." Even the underling found the brazen display amusing. The boss may have a weakness for women, but he's rock solid when it counts. Meanwhile, Mahali's rescuer finally grasped the truth. She really was Huang Woody's girl. He frantically signaled the Emperor Gang. "Kneel!" Now, his gestures screamed. Confusion painted their faces. What did this guy want? He was clearly on a different wavelength. Expecting a kneel, he received a beating. A brutal welcome, indeed. Turns out, Mahali's claim of being Huang Woody's girlfriend was a curveball they never saw coming. Their leader, with a girlfriend? Unthinkable. Gao Jibing broke into a cold sweat at the news. All the air went out of him. If that was true, he was in serious trouble. Had a rumor about Gao Shao Industries' cowardly boss drawn them in? Was Gao Shao Industries' leader rumored to be a pushover? Gao Jibing's teeth clenched, fury burning in his eye. "You've outlived your usefulness." He hurled Mahali from the 3rd floor. Turning, he prepared to inform the strategist, but Mahali's plummeting body was intercepted by Jin Zishan. He'd arrived just in time, saving her life. "Go," Jin Zhuoxian urged. His 4th squad still needed his guidance. United Association reinforcements were imminent. Allied schools were on their way. Gao Jibing delivered his report. He requested the strategist's intervention. The strategist erupted in rage. Accusations of fabrication filled the air. The Emperor Gang at Gao Shao Industry? Preposterous. As Gao Jibing started to explain, a chilling premonition gripped him. Jin Zaxian reached the 3rd floor, radiating pure menace. He was there to punish the scum who'd thrown a woman from a window. Both were bullies, true, but their power was vastly different. Gao Jibing was a pale imitation of strength, while Jin Zhuoxian was born to lead. Jin Zhuoxian's approach triggered a cold sweat in Gao Jibing. He knew he was hopelessly outmatched. Desperate, he urged Jin Zhuoxian to retreat, warning of imminent backup. "Don't worry. I'll finish you before they arrive." With that, he launched a direct attack, smashing an elbow into Gao Jibing's gut. He followed with a lightning-fast combo, sending Gao Jibing flying. He barely regained his footing. Jin Zaxian launched another attack. A sweeping kick sent him sprawling. He finally struggled to his feet, his body racked with pain. But his first instinct was to scan his surroundings. Only after confirming he was alone did he exhale in relief. He urged Jin Xian to flee, warning that the United Association's allies were imminent. "If this goes on, your men will be decimated," he cautioned, "and you won't fare much better. Let's cut our losses and walk away." Gao Jibing's motive was clear. He wanted to hide his crushing defeat. A boss maintained control through an image of power. He had to project strength. The United Association? Meaningless. Only immediate gratification mattered. Jin Zishan was disillusioned. He hadn't expected such a shallow opponent. "I'll forge my own escape route." With that, he sent Gao flying with a kick, right out the school building. The underling stared at his boss, cradled in his arm. A cold sweat broke out. Outside, the fight was reaching its climax. The strategist just received confirmation. Jin Zhuoxian had arrived with a platoon-sized force. His motive? A girl claiming to be Huang Wudi's girlfriend. The information's veracity remained uncertain. If that's true, unleash Dun Zhong and Dai Lin's men. Crush them. They're cornered rats, regardless. This is our chance to cripple the 4th squad. Please annihilate these fools who dare defy us on our own turf. Both school leaders received the order and mobilized immediately. Jin Zishan exited the classroom and was instantly swarmed by his underling. Time to call in the cavalry. United Association's backup is inbound. We need to pull out. Stay calm. I just spotted a back alley behind the school. That's our escape route. But his crew looked bewildered. He was pointing straight at a dead end. Meanwhile, reinforcements reached Gaoshou Industry School. Dunjang's leader, Ochan Xian, was ready to storm the gates. But Dai Lin's boss, Hong Xian, intervened. He ordered Ochan Xian to hold his men back at the dog hole. There was a narrow passage behind Gaoshou Industry. Motorcycles would be more effective blocking the main entrance. A siege was safer than a direct assault. Hong Qian's plan was to wear them down. Ochan Xian agreed without hesitation. He led his men towards the dog hole, blindly unaware of the deception. Huayanzi's assurance of the strategist's complete trust had sealed the deal. With Zheng Taijun eliminated by Jin Zhishan, the coveted 10th spot in the United Association was up for grab. United Association rules dictated, though the 11th rank remained a mystery. A comprehensive assessment revealed the truth. 11th place was undeniably mine. Consuming Jin Seiqian's power meant seizing the 10th position in the United Association. Hong Qian strategically chose the school gate, maximizing his chances. Meanwhile, Ochan Qian led his forces to the dog hole. Gaoshou Industry was now trapped, both exits sealed. The outcome hinged on Jin Zashian's chosen escape route. The roar of motorcycle engines shattered the silence. Both turned towards the approaching sound. The ensuing scene defied all expectation. Jin Zashian burst forth on a motorcycle. Hot on his heels, the school's forces followed. Their escape was a resounding success. Jin Zashian's words echoed, "If there's no escape, I'll create one." But could the trapped 4th squad truly break free? Could they escape the encirclement and return safely? Jin Zashian's answer, "We go out through here." His declaration stunned even the bravest members of the gang. They froze, paralyzed by his word. He pointed to a solid wall, seemingly without an exit. He led them to the playground, revealing his plan. Their escape route: a shattered playground railing. Following Zashian's orders, they positioned the railing against the wall. Doubts lingered. Could motorcycles truly fly out along this makeshift ramp? Suddenly, a report arrived. Incoming news. Enemy reinforcements had arrived. The United Association blocked all exit. The main gate sealed, the dog hole closed. A trap awaited them. Hesitation filled the air. Zashian roared his engine, taking the lead. He would show them the way. A leader by example. Jin Zheyan made a clean escape. His crew followed suit, mimicking his move. They were ready to follow their leader anywhere. Meanwhile, Gaoshou Industries' head honcho, Gao Jiabing, was just coming to. He stood, shaky and disoriented, wondering how he'd gotten there. The chaotic scene before him triggered his memory. The events of the past half hour came flooding back. It was all that blasted girl's fault. Realization sparked action. He frantically searched for Mahali. She was nowhere to be found amongst the fallen bodies. He distinctly remembered throwing her down. It was a 3-story drop. Survival was impossible unless someone caught her. Ambushed by the guerrilla team, his situation was dire. He'd lose more than just his position in Gaoshou Industry. He'd become a laughingstock throughout the United Association. Finding that girl was his only hope. If he could deliver her to the strategist, I can significantly benefit the United Association. This will redeem my reputation. Meanwhile, a chase unfolded on a different street. The 4th squad was being strategically cornered. To trap them, Hong Xian divided his forces. Half continued the direct pursuit. He led the others on a shortcut. His knowledge of the area gave him an advantage. The 4th squad's route had only one right turn. A 2-pronged attack would ensure their capture. A perfect ambush. But would his plan succeed? The pursuing group ran straight into the Emperor Gang, and their ranks appeared thinner. Jin Sishan smirked. Too late to realize the danger. You've walked right into our trap. More Emperor Gang members materialized behind them. The United Association was completely surrounded. Hong Xian and his men arrived on the scene. He witnessed the chaos, dismounting to investigate. He quickly discovered Jin Zishan had launched a surprise flank attack. Fury consumed Hong Xian. Jin Zishan had anticipated his every move. Yet, the pursuit continued. Promotion was within his grasp. Meanwhile, Mahali found her escape blocked by Park Sukha. The 1st squad captain had arrived. Panic seized Mahali. "Were you following me?" she demanded. "If so, you watched me get captured. You're Huang Woody's enemy. Not saving you makes me his enemy? You misunderstand. I have no duty to assist you. You have no connection to the Emperor Gang. You're just his girl." True enough. If Emperor Brother heard that, He'd be crushed. After all, I'm his girl, and Huang Woody adores me. If anything happened to me, he'd be devastated. Keeping the boss happy is part of the second-in-command's job, right? Smooth talker. No wonder you snagged Huang Woody. My face did the seducing. Huang Chomin witnessed the exchange. Having just arrived, my heli contacted him after escaping. He cabbed it to Xing Street. Stepping out, he saw this scene at the park. Suka interrogated Maheli. Was it really Huang Woody who saved you? How could she possibly respond to such a piercing question? The man simply smiled. A smile that sent chills down her spine, leaving her trembling. Tears welled in her eyes. She choked back a sob, recognition dawning in her horror. Huang Woody was dead. She knew it. Tonight, she wouldn't survive. Rewind to 3 days earlier. Hijian confronted her. Your revenge is misdirected, he warned. Your brother wasn't brutalized by the gang leader. He was a pawn in someone else's game. Doubt not at Mahali. Had she overlooked something crucial? Seeking answers, she sought out her brother's friend. She needed to understand the Emperor Gang's attack. Her questions were met with hostility. Who are you? They demanded. Why dredge up those painful memories? Suddenly, a man recognized her. You're Ma Xiaoxin's sister, right? Ma Heli was delighted by this fortunate encounter. He congratulated himself on his sharp eye, then warmly linked arms with the two women, eager to find a place to settle and talk. Over casual conversation, Ma Heli uncovered crucial information. His brother's subordinate was stationed far behind the Emperor Gang's front line when Huang Woody unexpectedly appeared, and Huang Woody's arrival was marked by a chillingly murderous expression. This unexpected turn of events sent his brother into a panic. Fear gripped him as the situation spiraled out of control. Everything had unfolded in a way no one could have predicted. Ultimately, Ma Xiaoxin ended up in a vegetative state after a brutal attack by Huang Woody, but there was absolutely no prior connection between the two. Huang Woody had ventured behind enemy line to assault a complete stranger. This deliberate journey to the rear painted a picture of Huang Woody that starkly contrasted with the man Maheli thought he knew, a tribute to her memory. Huang Woody was unyielding, a man of iron will. He answered to no one, acting solely on his own terms. He was the very definition of power. So who could possibly manipulate a force like that? Mahali could think of only two people capable of such influence, herself and Park Suka, Huang Woody's sole confidant. This traitor, he goaded Huang Woody into attacking my brother. Park Suka sensed Mahali's sudden silence, and instantly grasped the truth. He couldn't help but let out a laugh. But that smile ignited Mahali's fury. It was only the second time she'd witnessed Park Suka smile. The first, when Huang Woody introduced them. Your expression then was fleeting. But I saw it, and afterward, that smile vanished. Until now, this smile. Is this because you think everything's proceeding without a hit? Park Suko's lips curled into a subtle sneer. Just what are you implying? He demanded. A sudden realization dawned on him mid-sentence. A manic grin spread across his face. I knew it, he declared. You murdered Huang Woody. Mahali didn't deny it. She knew she couldn't deceive him. Unbeknownst to them, Huang Chomin, eavesdropping from behind the wall, was drenched in a cold sweat. Mahali's actions were baffling. You were tailing me to ensure things went as planned, weren't you? And if they did, you intended to silence me? The only one who knows about Huang Woody's death. Am I right? Huang Chomin finally understood. Mahali's self-defense preparations weren't paranoia. She felt genuinely threatened. And the source of that threat was Park Suka, leader of the Emperor Gang's elite first squad. Mahali suddenly smirked. Took you long enough, coward. The cryptic taunt sent shivers down Park Suka's spine. He spun around, spotting Gao Jibing approaching. Their eyes met. Terror flooded Gao Jibing, the dread of Jin Zishan, the formidable captain of the Emperor Gang's fourth squad. Panic seized him. His motorcycle swerved. The speeding bike slammed into Park Suka. Huang Chomin pulled Mahali to safety just in time. Run, Mahali urged. Park Suka's still there. Huang Chomin's words brought a chilling realization. Park Suka was motionless. Before they could react, Gao Jibing stumbled to his feet. He saw Park Suka sprawled on the ground, momentarily stunned. He had to be sure, was he dead? He knelt beside Park Suka. A triumphant grin spread across his face. He bragged to the pair before him. You saw that, right? I single-handedly took down Emperor Gang's second-in-command. That invincible gang captain's on his last breath. Moments before, Gao Jiabing's panic swerved his motorcycle. He accidentally plowed into Park Suka. Realization dawned on Gao Jiabing. Excitement surged through him. He forgot his near-deadly mistake in his exhilaration. He aimed to seize the two for greater glory. Wang Chaomin braced himself, ready to hold him back. He wanted Mahali to escape first, but hesitated, then charged forward without a second thought. Wang Chaomin was bewildered. Distracted. Gao Jiabing flung Huang Chaomin aside. Unimpeded, Gao Jiabing easily blocked the incoming attack. He ridiculed her without hesitation. Huang Woody's girlfriend? Is that what makes you so cocky? Your loose lips will cost you dearly today. He was poised to strike. When Mahali unleashed a cloud of pepper spray, she aimed directly for Gao Jiabing's face. Panic seized him. Gao Jiabing erupted in curses, flailing wildly. His hands weren't just for show. But his furious blows proved ineffective. Frustrated, he ceased his attack. The ultimate insult? That she dared try to take down a school bully like him with something so trivial. He gritted his teeth against the pain. Mahali would pay for this. Suddenly, Huang Chaomin's motorcycle slammed into him. The impact sent Gao Jiabing flying. Even Huang Chaomin was stunned. He hadn't anticipated that kind of power, exploiting her unconscious state. He escaped with Mahali, but then, when did you arrive? Mahali demanded of Huang Chaomin, before she could finish. Huang Chaomin cut her off. I overheard enough to guess the rest, he declared, but I'm more curious. Where were you taking me? Let's go, she suggested. Huang Woody's place is closed. Meanwhile, Jin Xian's fourth squad was still on the run. Rounding a corner, they ran into pursuer. Jin Xian frowned. They hadn't expected a relentless pursuit on another route. Jin Xian made a snap decision. Left, he commanded, leading the escape. Unknowingly, they played right into the enemy's hand. An ambush awaited. His only complaint. His biggest hurdle? Cooperating with that imbecile. But Chen Xian's stupidity exceeded all expectation. He actually ordered his men to use themselves as human battering rams. Faced with this absurdity, Jin Zishan ordered a desperate breakout. However, the United Association suffered heavier losses, overwhelmed by sheer numbers. Many of his comrades were down. Witnessing the carnage behind him, Jin Zishan cursed under his breath. Without hesitation, he abandoned his motorcycle. He prepared to engage the United Association mob, but as enemy reinforcements approached, Jin Jian realized escape was impossible. Breaking through wouldn't save the fourth squad. He charged their leader. Before Ocean Xian could react, Jin Xian decked him with a single blow. That punch silenced everyone. Without a moment's pause, Jin Jichen snatched a steel pipe and hurled it. Hong Qian, on his motorcycle, instinctively swerved, believing himself the target. The sudden maneuver sent him crashing straight into one of the underlings. A domino effect ensued, riders tumbling to the ground. They all went down hard. Jin Jichen, witnessing his successful intervention, exhaled in relief. His moment of triumph was short-lived. An underling came flying directly at him. Jin Jichen turned to see his fourth squad in full retreat. He charged to their aid, positioning himself as a shield. He froze. The figure before him sent a shiver down his spine. The newcomer appeared utterly nonchalant. He casually greeted Jin Jichen, claiming to be a passerby drawn by the commotion. He'd simply stopped to observe. The underlings, hidden in the shadows, saw a single target and urged Jin Zishan to a joint attack. But Jin Zishan hesitated, a nervous gulp in his throat. Then, he roared the order: full retreat, immediate withdrawal, unconditional surrender, run. The reason? The man before them, Yuan, the formidable chairman of the Big Phil United Association. Outwardly, a gentle, refined air, but beneath the surface, a ruthless, strategic mastermind, driven by a singular, disturbing passion to push his enemies to the brink of despair before destroying them. A terrifying prospect for most. But for Yuan, a thrilling game. His tactic: overwhelm, triple the enemy's numbers, and annihilate. This time, however, he underestimated Jin Jishan's ferocity. If their chairman hadn't intervened, this mission would have been a catastrophic failure. Jin Jishan, facing Yuan. Just you. He instantly ordered a full retreat. Everyone scrambled for their motorcycle, but Yuan remained unfazed. He made no move to pursue. Instead, he called the strategist. "They're running," he reported, no looking back. The strategist immediately contacted Quan Chuldu, Big Phil United Association's third-in-command. Their escape route led through his territory. "Divide your forces," he commanded, 3 routes. "Position your men at these locations." Another call followed. This time, to Wayusa, the association's 4th rank, and his planted mole. The call connected. "Report," he demanded of Wayusa. "Any progress?" Wayusa was still reeling. Disbelief clung to him. The strategist's predictions had been flawless. He drew a blank, not a single person. Just moments ago, it became clear, he'd abruptly detained everyone involved in Gigi John's capture. But after meticulously scrutinizing their phone record, no leak was found, not one mole, no traitor among those involved in the operation. The strategist's composure shattered, replaced by frantic energy. "Now I understand why police sometimes rely on gut feelings, even without proof." His analysis continued, sharp and focused. He relentlessly pursued the truth. Only a handful knew about Guizhang's arrest: myself, Wu Yansa, Min Dusheng, and Huang Chomin. The Emperor Gang launched a massive rescue effort. I didn't leak the information, neither did you. It wasn't Min Dusheng or his people either. That leaves only Huang Chomin. He's not officially part of the Emperor Gang, but what if he's their secret leader? This explains everything. Lack of proof aside, my suspicion remains. I'm 99.9% certain Huang Chomin's the imposter. Yunza, I need you to apprehend someone. The location will be texted. Expect the address shortly. You'll find the fake leader there. He's the one you're after. We're in the thick of it now. Jin Jishin's still on the run, the chase ongoing. He likely possesses leverage over the Emperor Gang. The 4th squad scattered. Escape from Big Phil United proved impossible. They were surrounded. Fleeing the chairman limited their escape route. Only 3 paths were viable. Blocking those 3 points guarantees capture. They'll be trapped. The strategist analyzed Jin Zishan's strategy. Motorcycles offer speed. Their size becomes their weakness, trapping them. Narrow escapes are impossible unless they ditch their bike. Their only option, the open road. He couldn't resist a mental chuckle at their foolishness. One task, guard the final checkpoint. Yet, they were failing miserably. Jin Zishan drew the short straw on this assignment. His misfortune? A run-in at Market Alley. Quan Chulda stood guard. And he was out for blood. This was their chance to crush Jin Zishan, to ensure he'd never rise again. Meanwhile, Wu Jiazhang was at karaoke with his squad, but his mind was elsewhere. A nagging worry gnawed at him. Why wasn't Park Soko answering his call? They had a score to settle today. Then, his phone finally rang. Wu Jidian answered with his usual abrasive charm. He wasted no time calling Captain Yun Jihun a lunatic. "What's the deal?" he demanded. The nickname infuriated Yun Jihun, but Guajidian was just a thug. Best to ignore it. He cut to the chase. Park Suka's unconscious, he revealed. Gigi Zhang froze. Huang Chaomin was equally stunned. His brother, Huang Woody. A diarist? Unbelievable. But then, lying on the ground, laughter erupted. His joy? He'd fought Wu Yun's, the Big Phil United Association's 4th-ranked powerhouse. He felt confident, though. His skill, more than a match for this level. He even bragged. Already envisioning his triumphant victory. Seconds ago, Jin Luchuan arrived, sending Wu Yunza flying. "Why are you here?" he blurted. Jin Luchuan remained unfazed. A simple explanation, Mahali called. Then, a chilling question. "Who are you to touch my friend?" Wu Yunza seethed. Humiliated by a nobody. Punched, no less. Hearing this, a laugh escaped his lip. He couldn't contain his amusement. A strategist without ambitions to control the Emperor? The gang's exposure was imminent. "I'd love to see your face when the truth unfolds," he subtly warned the other. "It seems you've befriended a viper." Jin Lichuan was utterly bewildered. The meaning eluded him. Wu Yunza offered no clarification. Instead, he seized the opportunity to retaliate. The punch landed, pain jolting through him. Jin Lichuan snapped back to reality. He unleashed a torrent of curses at Yunza, but another brutal blow swiftly followed. A flurry of fists rained down upon him. Finally, Yunza spoke. "Thanks to your dear friend. You're about to be inexplicably KO'd by the United Association." Number 4 Jin Lichuan remained undeterred. Defeat only fueled his determination to win. Evading the flurry of punches, he seized his chance to strike. A head-on collision sent Wu Yunzi flying. He triumphantly declared his victory. Never underestimate your opponent. I'm an Emperor Gang member, after all. Wu Yunzi's rage simmered down. He considered the man before him, oblivious to the imposter beside him. He found the situation quite comic. Bound by secrecy, he couldn't reveal the truth. Frustrated, Wu Yunzi lunged again. His fist halted mid-swing. Jean Lichuan was momentarily taken aback. A sudden right hook landed. Jean Lichuan was caught completely off guard. The second attack mirrored the first. The punch froze in the air. He observed his opponent's defensive stand. Was there a second strike coming? Jean Lichuan was relentlessly forced back, completely on the defensive. No chance to counter. Despair consumed Huang Chomin. Wu Yunzi had been tailing them for a reason. He was after Huang Wuti's phone. The strategist had confirmed his suspicions. The leader was a fraud. Escape seemed impossible. Even if he got away, suspicion would linger. Was this charade truly worth it? Was it right to endanger others, to betray trust, to deceive those who called him friend? His gaze drifted to Mahali, the architect of this whole deception. She was the one who had forced his hand, coerced him into this role, but now she lay unconscious. What purpose did this masquerade serve now? As Huang Chomin wrestled with this question, Jean Lichuan crumbled beneath Wu Yun's relentless assault, sent him crashing to the ground. Unfazed, the other man calmly lit a cigarette. Before delivering the final blow, he had one question, just one. Why the constant smile? Why this grin when he clearly couldn't fight back? Jean Lichuan offered no answer. Instead, he sought confirmation from Wu Yunzi. You're the United Association's fourth strongest fighter, correct? Only after confirmation did Jean reveal his reason. He'd already envisioned his victory. He'd pictured this moment. Wu Yunzi's veins bulged with fury. Such arrogance, such audacity before death. But as his right foot descended, Jean Lichuan caught it, held it firm. Off balance, Wu Yunzi stumbled towards a nearby table. Jean Lichuan seized the moment, rising slowly. He unleashed a move learned in secret from Jean Zish, the scorpion tail, a brutal kick to the forehead. The impact sent Wu Yunzi's vision white, and the mirror shattered. A simple phone exchange could have solved everything, but his companion put his life on the line. Jean Zishian's rescue now rested solely on it. Moments before, Jean Lichuan had taken down Wu Yunzi, the United Association's fourth-ranked fighter. Utilizing the scorpion tail technique, he seized the opportunity. Huang Chomin made his escape. Mahali would help handle Wu Yunzi. But Huang Chomin hesitated. Should he surrender the phone? Would it truly end the conflict? Before a decision could be made, Jean Lichuan intervened. Keep the phone. Huang Chomin was stunned. How did he know? There was no time for explanation. Wu Yunzi was back on his feet, overhearing their conversation. He was puzzled. How did Jean Lichu know? But first, a more pressing matter. Grabbing the phone. He barely made it halfway. When Jean Lichuan's kick sent him flying, he crashed to the ground. The scene jolted Huang Chomin back to reality, scooping up Mahali. He prepared to escape, but before he could, Jean Lichuan stopped him. Rescue Jean Zishan, he urged. Elsewhere, another battle raged. Jean Zishan was down on his knees, defeated. His victor, Quan Jiado, the United Association's third-ranked fighter. Huang Chomin's departure was quickly followed by Wu Yunzi breaking free. Enraged, he ignored Huang Chomin and lashed out at Jean Lichuan. A brutal blow landed squarely on his face, but Wu Yunzi stood firm. He retaliated, seizing his opponent's foot and sending him flying. Jean Lichuan remained unconvinced. He relentlessly pursued Wu Yunzi until a distinct sense stopped him. Suddenly, Jean Lichuan understood. He scrambled to his feet. He frantically patted down the burning areas on his body. Confusion swept over Wu Yunzi. The fire's origin was a mystery. Its rapid growth was equally baffling, but for Jean Lichuan, the culprit was clear: Wu's discarded cigarette. He instantly placed the blame on Wu Yunzi. Wu Yunzi felt a surge of unease. The situation had spiraled out of control. He backed away, urging Jean Lichuan to let him pass. Jean Lichuan's refusal was immediate. What if you're going after Huang Chomin? He demanded. He still has unfinished business. There's no escape for you. This actually works in my favor. With a fire this intense, you'll suffocate from the smoke. Once you're unconscious, I'll hand you over to the police as an arsonist. Wu Yunzi was enraged. His veins pulsed. Fine then, Don't blame me for your death. He lunged at Jean Lechuan. Elsewhere, the strategist was still trying to reach Wu Yunzi, but there was no answer. He was perplexed. It had been an hour since their last contact. He should have reported back by now. After all, Huang Chomin couldn't possibly last an hour against Wu Yunzi. The fight should have been over in 2.5 minutes, top. This was unsettling. Left with no other option, he summoned the butler. Where is he now? He demanded. He was informed of his imminent return. Check on that house, he ordered, referring to the earlier visit. Trouble was brewing. Agreement was instant and unquestioning. He reversed course. A sudden sight caught his eye. Fire trucks, sirens blaring, raced towards him, and not just one. Meanwhile, Jean Taeyong waited at home. Dinner was ready, but his brother was late. He'd promised to be back before nightfall. But now, worry gnawed at him. Had something happened? The late hour, the silence, fueled his anxiety. The fearless gang leader was broken and bruised. He knelt, defeated. Even the spittle striking his face didn't provoke anger. Where are the others? He rasped. What else could I have done with them? Quan Jido scoffed. Naturally, I crushed them. They might be out of commission for a while, but don't worry, you'll share their fate soon enough. After all, the chairman's orders are to drag you to the United Association for a public execution at the general meeting. The purpose of this spectacle? Morale, of course, to boost morale. So, I suggested a venue to the chairman. And conquered it, by the way. Think about it, Jin Zaixian. What about Chong Bai Pi? Jin Zaixian's teeth ground together in fury. He was powerless. Quan Jido's cruelty knew no bound. He wanted to see Jin Zaixian humiliated before his own men. But first, Quan Jido continued, you'll stay put in the warehouse. Suddenly, Jin Zaixian bowed his head. Quan Jido was taken aback. What was this? Is this real life? Jin Zaixian's face darkened as he demanded, why would you do something like that? And then revel in that pathetic sense of belonging, even resorting to hurting others? His final accusation hung heavy in the air. Jin Zaixian erupted, unable to contain himself. But Quan Jido stepped on his head, silencing it. He scoffed, dismissing Jin's words as utter nonsense. Didn't you join the Emperor Gang yourself? Isn't your so-called reason just for kicks? Quan Jido finished. An underling arrived. The car's here, he reported. Jin Zhaoshan was roughly thrown into the car. Drive, Quan Jido ordered sharply. Oh. And one more thing. Does your delivery service handle other types of delivery? Anything for a price, came the reply. The voice struck a chord with Jin Zhaoshan. In that case, go to the place I mentioned. Money's not an issue. But behind the wheel, the driver was drenched in nervous sweat. It was Huang Chomin, in disguise. His mission, rescuing Jin Shuoxian. After the escape, a thought struck Huang Chomin. He remembered Jin Lichuan's words. Forget the phone. Just get Jin Zhaoshan out. The words jolted Huang Chomin. He was completely blindsided. How did Jin Lichuan know about the phone? There had been no indication, no hint, but there was no time to dwell on it. Jin Zhaoshan's rescue was paramount, but contact had been lost. The plan seemed flawless initially. But Lichuan's words suggested otherwise. Something went wrong during the escape. Enzikian was a brilliant strategist. For him to be trapped meant a formidable adversary. The enemy must have strategized as well. Thinking like the United Association, how would I ensure their defeat? Wang Chaomin consulted the map. 3 escape routes to the main road were apparent. Ambushes would be my tactic. He hoisted Yahello onto his back and set off toward the nearest escape route. His suspicions were confirmed. Several Emperor Gang members lay defeated, but less than a full squad. They must have scattered in their escape. Most alarming to Huang Chaomin was their brutalized condition. They'd been savagely beaten. Jin Lichuan's knowledge remained a mystery, but his instruction to save Zhaxian was clear, confirming Zhaxian's capture. The other routes needed investigation. Clues might be found there. Huang Chaomin was ready to move, but a cough stopped him. He crouched, peeking over the wall. A figure slowly rose from the ground. He approached another, a pat on the shoulder, a silent plea. We have to save the captain, his gesture urged. He'd heard it all. There was no mistaking their plan. Imprison the captain. Then, a public execution at the United Association's meeting. Before he could speak, a brutal stomp silenced him. A foot came crashing down on his head. What's this? Where is everyone? Can Huang Chaomin save Jin Zhaxian? The delivery driver finally arrived. But now, only unconscious Emperor Gang members remain. He called his client. Where are you? The parking lot, the voice replied. Laying on the charm, he promised a quick arrival. The call ended, and his demeanor instantly flipped. Damn delivery service, he spat, forcing me to kowtow to some random punk. But wait, do all young hoodlums wear uniforms now? Each generation's wilder than the last. His thoughts fueled a surge of anger. I was just like them a few years ago. Dreaming big, before life crushed me. Wouldn't wish this delivery gig on a dog. Suddenly, a crushing blow landed on the back of his head. His attacker, Huang Xiaoman. Zixian's rescue demanded drastic measures, but this was Huang Xiaoman's maiden voyage behind the wheel, and his nerves were shot. His passengers, oblivious to his anxiety, chatted amongst themselves. Then, seeking a deserted road, Huang Xiaoman veered off course. Disaster struck. He slammed into the guardrail. Their conversation abruptly ended. They urged the driver to proceed with caution. Huang Xiaoman's gaze dropped to the floor. He realized his sudden braking. A quick apology, a silent prayer. Please, don't let them connect the dots. Don't let them realize. Jean Zaxian broke into a cold sweat. Fear gripped him. Would Huang Xiaoman slip up, expose them? He glanced nervously at Quan Jada. Was he asleep? Relief washed over him momentarily. Then Huang Jidwa spoke. Something's off about this delivery guy, isn't it? His eyes locked onto Huang Xiaoman. I wasn't sure before. But now I know. Your voice is definitely different. Stunned silence filled the back seat. Confusion hung heavy in the air. Jean Zixian's heart hammered in his chest. Oblivious, Huang Xiaoman continued driving. Enraged, Quan Jado lunged at him. He desperately tried to halt the car, but then Huang Xiaoman slammed on the gas. The car instantly rocketed to 100 kilometers per hour. They shot into a tunnel. The G-force slammed Quan Jodo back into his seat. Jean Zaxian seized the moment, kicking the thug behind him. Quan Jodo went flying, but quickly recovered. He lunged again at Huang Xiaoman. He grabbed Huang Xiaoman's face, screaming curses. The car swerved wildly, then crashed. Instantly, the car was engulfed in thick, white smoke. Shockingly, Quan Judo was the first one out. He stumbled to the driver's side. He ripped the door open and dragged Huang Xiaoman out. Who sent you? He demanded. Huang Xiaoman remained silent. Quan Jodo's fury darkened his face. He couldn't resist a taunt. You think you're fooling me? But Huang Xiaoman's reply was unexpected. Seems your tinted windows are clouding your judgment, he faltered. Confusion reigned until the roar of engines filled the air. To his shock, the tunnel entrance was swarming. Huang Xiaoman had made a call. He'd alerted the entire Emperor Gang. 4th Squad Captain, Jean Zixian, is currently in United Association custody. He's being transported immediately to Gaoshou Tunnel. The message spread like wildfire. At the front stood Guo Jijiong, the Emperor Gang's 2nd Squad Captain. Wang Xiaoman smirked, his plan a success. Quan Judo was momentarily stunned. Huang Xiaoman was forgotten. Jin Xian had already neutralized the thugs inside the car. But the biggest shock? Huang Xiaoman himself. He led them straight into a trap. An ambush orchestrated by the Emperor Gang. Quan Judo sensed the imminent danger. He spun around, wasting no time. His escape route, the opposite tunnel entrance. But the thought barely formed when a figure emerged from the darkness. Lian Jishuan, the Emperor Gang's 3rd Squad Captain. An entire gang mobilized to intercept a single van. Unbelievable. Jean Zixian's rescue had triggered this. Huang Xiaoman's deception ran deeper than a delivery disguise. He'd driven them straight into the tunnel's jaws. His pre-planned rendezvous with the Emperor Gang, the Gaochou Tunnel. The moment Quan Judo grasped the truth, he bolted for the other exit. But a figure materialized from the shadow. Lian Jishuan, leader of the Emperor Gang's 3rd Squad. Fury ignited in his eyes. Cursing his misfortune, he lunged at his foes, overwhelmed by sheer numbers. They were swiftly losing ground. Yet, his curses continued. This infuriated Huang Xiaoman. He couldn't understand the other's arrogance. His only advantage, superior numbers against Xian. This wasn't a one-man army scenario. It was a student brawl. Numbers were paramount. As the tide turned, Huang Xiaoman moved to free Jin Zixian. Meanwhile, Guo Jijiang leaped into the fray. His flying kick sent Guangzhou soaring 10 meters. Guangzhou landed hard, unable to rise, but Guo Jijiang's rage remained. That same day, the United Association had hospitalized Park Sukhan and targeted Jin Xian. Their arrogance was unacceptable to Guo Jijiang. He continued his assault on Guangzhou. Was the Emperor Gang a pushover? Jin Zixin intervened, halting the brutal assault. He ordered Guo Jijiang to stop. The consequences could be fatal if he continued. Yet, Hua Zhejiang remained relentless. He refused to yield. As his foot prepared to strike again, a voice cut through the tension. "What fuels your rage?" "He's a traitor, nothing more," came the reply. Lian Jishuan, captain of the Emperor Gang's third squad, arrived. His reaction starkly contrasted with Hua Zhejiang. Their exchange stunned Jin Zishan. Park Suka had also been attacked, a shocking revelation. More urgently, why was Park Suka branded a traitor? Lian Jishuan offered no explanation. He simply stated the matter would be resolved. He even suggested this could be advantageous. Wei Jijiang, seizing his collar, demanded answer. Advantageous? Ha! The Emperor Gang's first squad captain is hospitalized, thanks to the United Association. They're completely dismissing us. His words hung in the air. Hua Zhejiang trembled with rage. Lian Jishuan remained impassive. He simply laid out the facts. "We retaliated. One of their executives is down. Number 3 in the United Association." The news didn't faze Hua Zhejiang. He couldn't process the situation. His mind reeled, searching for answer. He ground his teeth in frustration. Jin Zishan remained silent beside him. Hua Zhejiang's loyalty was unexpected. The roar of motorcycles shattered the tense silence. The remaining members of the fourth squad arrived. They bore the marks of the previous battle. The Gaosho industry war, ignited by Gao Jiabei, and his provocation of Mahali, had decimated the Emperor Gang's fourth squad. The United Association's Gaosho industry division had been wiped out. Dylan and Dunchon were crippled, half their members incapacitated, left unable to fight. The Emperor Gang's top captain, Park Suka, was in a coma. And the United Association's third-in-command, Quan Jado, was also out of commission. The aftermath was devastating. In the end, Hua Zhejiang led the second squad in a hasty retreat. Li and Ji Shun were left behind. As they walked, Huang Chaomin grumbled about the ordeal of feigning death. Playing dead was exhausting. A message arrived from Ma Heli. After a brief update on Jin Lichuan, she announced she was on her way. But her words sent Huang Chaomin into deep contemplation. To the strategist, his charade as leader was undeniably exposed. The Emperor Gang's first captain was comatose, and Wang Woody was nowhere to be found. The Emperor Gang was backed into a corner. "This blasted phone has ruined my life. I just wanted those thugs to suffer like I did. Now, whether Gui Shizhong seeks revenge or not, surrendering feels like the easiest option. Just accept the consequences. Ditch the phone, end it all. Forget the Emperor Gang." But then, a thought struck him. Was Huang Wudi's diary truly destroyed? If so, am I the sole keeper of its secrets? And now, everything spiraled out of control, just as I'm forced to surrender. I can't let go. Why is this happening?